Hey guys, welcome back. Here it is, the battle for Texas. We got Dallas up against Houston, and I do appreciate everybody linking me different recipes and everything else for the food. I'm going to order one tonight. I'm just saying, they look absolute fire. And now I'm very hungry. So win, lose. I'm hungry now, but I'll be looking forward to that this evening.
And Los Angeles has its ups and downs, but one of the ups is definitely food. You can definitely get a legit empanada here in Los Angeles, which I'm sure you can also probably get in Texas as well. Houston versus Dallas. Look, I love regional rivalries. Like, it means so much to the fans to be the best in the state. You know, at some point in the history of Texas, Six Flags flew over Texas, but today, after an Overwatch League match, it will either be Houston or Dallas who holds on top, and historically, these two teams have been pretty close in the matchup.
That they have 3-3 all-time record for both teams. However, Hex, if you look at when they actually won those games, very early on in Overwatch League, just as a whole, it was the Outlaws game to win. They'd ended up winning the first 3 matches they ever played against each other, but the previous 3, it's actually been the complete opposite. It's actually been Dallas. So can Outlaws actually flip the tables this time around? This is, of course, Connections presented by Xfinity. It's kind of funny if you look at the all-time record and then versus who's been on the team. A lot of mix-ups here and there, of course, brand new players coming into this season, people like Paintbrush, of course, for the Dallas Fuel, Doha, and Decay. So can this reformed Dallas Fuel and Outlaw squad actually break this you win 3, we win 3, you win 3 kind of train? We'll have to wait and find out, of course. And it's been looking good for the Dallas Fuel over the last couple of weeks, picking up Oni God when Decay was taking a little back seat. It was just really sick to see. It was nice to see Oni God actually in the league, but Decay coming back in, oh man, I cannot wait to see more of him.
Well, it's always odd when you look at historical records, right? I mean, if you look back at 2018, I don't think anybody on this Houston team was on the squad in 2018. And if you look at Dallas, the 2018 roster is very different than the roster you have now. But it matters overall, franchise records against each other. And, I mean, look, we look at historical rivalry and all of that, but this matters a lot for both these teams who are considered on the rise, both of them. Although Dallas has not necessarily performed, both these teams look good on paper, and you would assume they look good. Johnny had Houston at 5 in his power rankings because, like, everybody else is not all that great. But Houston, I've said it time and again over the last couple of weeks, they live and die by the Dante.
Yes, they do. Let's see what he has to say about this match coming up. Let's throw to a quick voice.
Yeah, we haven't won Battle of Texas this year, or this season so far. I think the last 2 times we played Dallas, we weren't the greatest, but I really think we've grown a lot as a team this season so far. So I think it'll be really good going into match tomorrow. I think it'll be a really good match, and I think we will win. So, yeah.
Well, there you go. Wise words from Dante. And confident coming into today's game. I would be as well, to be fair, if I was Dante. Going to be real, his Tracer has just been so good recently. And having the Brig being nerfed, Hex, does that impact Dante at all? I feel like it doesn't as much. Dante very much feels like a solo Tracer, likes to just go on the flank alone, doesn't really need too much help, and just relying on health packs to really do a whole bunch. And he's actually got Blase on the DPS role as well, coming in for the team. So we're seeing Blase eventually. Does that mean Doomfist? Does that mean Genji? I don't know. So. I hope some Doomfist.
There were so many questions I had about this Houston roster, the starting 6, when it came to the hero pools and the meta coming in, right? Because Hydration is playing main tank. Hydration was not a main tank player for a very long time. They brought him in because his Orisa was really nice. Orisa's not in the pool. Is Hydration going to go over to a Reinhardt? What's Hydration going to play? And then you have Blase coming in, which makes me think, oh, okay, they want to run Projectile, maybe some Doomfist, maybe a little bit of Genji. But then we just saw some Sombra come into the mix, which is kind of where Dante made his bones. Like, yes, he's good at Tracer, but Sombra was like Dante's hero. So I think that's what we're seeing. Blase much maligned early in the season. We'll see if he can bounce back, but this Houston roster, the way it's put together and the way the hero pools are now impacting it, was going to be a big question mark I had. We'll see what they actually pick. On the other side of things, here is the Dallas Fuel starters, and no surprises here, Jaws.
Yep, no surprises whatsoever. We got Doha and Decay on the DPS, Gamsu and No on tank, and Crimzo and Paintbrush for support. And I did have a couple of questions about Paintbrush being added to the Dallas Fuel roster, but his break has been so good. Paintbrush is an extremely valuable addition to the Dallas Fuel lineup. Being able to support Crimzo as well, one of the biggest tools you can have in your arsenal as a support player is having the ability to actually protect your other support, and Brigitte does that pretty well. 250 HP, she has armor herself, she's pretty self-sustainable, she can keep herself alive for a fair bit. Damage reduction is a pretty good thing to have in Overwatch, and having the ability to help Crimzo out and make Crimzo succeed really does paint a good picture for a backline. So I've been pleasantly surprised with Paintbrush, and Dallas Fuel as a whole too. Having Decay back in the roster after that brief period of time off, it's been looking up and up for the Fuel.
Yeah, everyone who's in the know about the Dallas Fuel is very high on Paintbrush's Brigitte. I think we're going to see a lot of Brigitte as we go forward. We're going to kick it off here on Oasis, and we shall see just which kind of lineups these teams want to run. My early guess for Houston is Hackfist. You're going to see Sombra, you're going to see Doomfist. I think that's why Blase is in. My other question is, what does Hydration play? Maybe they do like a Sigma Diva. Maybe they go full dive. Who knows? But Muma's on the bench, so if they play Winston, I have a lot of questions about what's going on, because Muma's Winston is probably his best heroes. Maybe Houston is just locking in, like, this is our roster, this is what we're playing, I don't care what heroes are meta. They're just worried about coordination. So a lot of questions as we enter in to the 7th battle for Texas.
And eventually that 3-3 will be broken. It's
Someone's
quite funny.
Yeah.
It is quite funny seeing the historical records. Let's be real with ourselves. Outlaws always beating them first up, and then the Fuel taking over. I mean, just comes with the roster shifts as well, right? And here we go. Dante, he's on Sombra. Blase, he's on Sim. Just to TP out. There's not really much you can say about that. But Hackfist looks like it's going to be the name of the game, unless Blase surprises me with something else. And Mech on the Diva would be fairly interesting too. Can really aid in just adding to the punch of the Doomfist and just finishing people off.
Well, Diva got buffed as well. You know, Defense Matrix is back up there again, and a lot of more movement speed too.
I'd take it back. Oh, also, there's a Wrecking Ball behind us, guys, already. Gamsu has got to watch out. If he gets hacked instantly here, he is a lot of free ult charge. Luckily, he did manage to interrupt the hack from Dante as he rolled into him. Ball, I can imagine Gamsu switching early. Because against the Sombra, you're just a free ult battery. Yeah, you can see now, all Dante needs to do is hack him and then farm him. That's basically the name of the game. Decay, however, has found Dante. Dante did manage to get away in time, but Hydration wasn't quite so lucky. Doesn't quite have the speed boost, unfortunately. I think Jexay must have used the Amp It Up to get out of there ASAP. It's a lot of healing, of course, from Repel, and you can see how much healing he has been doing. He's almost got that Coalescence already. The Fuel, after that single kill, managed to cap the point first.
Yeah, that was such a strange fight, and even like where it took place was very odd too. Houston tried to get a little bit aggressive, they got pushed back on, and then the Wrecking Ball able to come in and do the disruption. Doha gets hacked though, it's brutal for Genji.
Oh, Decay actually is the one that ended up going down. Doha's still alive somehow. Repel supplementing the damage with a whole bunch of healing too. Blase does get stunned, is so close to that blade as well, but a healing orb just in time. Repel managed to keep him alive. Blase with maybe a position to go in, however the rally is coming up from Paintbrush and that armor is stacking up oh so high. Decides to go in with a blade anyway. The EMP is going to come out too. Everybody losing their abilities, but Hydration and Blase losing their lives. Meko self-destruct was launched in as well. Doha ends up going down, but the Fuel come out on top.
Double blades, and then the EMP comes out as well. I'm really surprised Dallas is able to get a lot of value that they did out of that. And one of the kind of benefits of getting EMP'd is people don't get to waste their ultimates. Now Dallas still has both tank ultimates up, Flux and Minefield, which are no, small ultimates to really own a control point.
Oh no, they get Flux in the corridor, but I don't think anybody actually went down. In fact, I believe Note's ult just got interrupted. Blase manages to find the kill into Blase as well. Good hold from the Fuel so far, and they still have the Bob to boot also. Note dealing with Dante, and they use the beat to surge them forward. Note eventually ends up going down. Tried to jump back into the Immortality field, but wasn't quite fast enough. The Coalescence to sustain them through this team fight as they try and dislodge Decay from the high ground. The Bob providing a lot of cover. Decay eventually falls to Repel's Coalescence. Blase with the emergency Doomfist switch to get back to the point in time, and this is the comp we really wanted to see, the Hackfist.
Yeah.
And the point is going to get capped just in the end, but an extra 10% or so for the Fuel, 96% on the board. One fight territory now for them.
a single fight, but Houston's actually has some nice ultimates that they can try to combo into. You can use the EMP and Shatter, make sure that you kill all the shields, and that will guarantee you win you a fight. However, Houston, knowing they have to win probably 3, 4 more fights, you kind of want to just use one at a time. Dallas has the advantage of just being able to pick whenever they want to win a single fight to win a stage.
Oh, of course he does. Jumps over to the Doomfist. He's going to get his ultimate almost instantly. There you go. He kills one in Repel, but the rest of his team are already dead. Doha ends up transforming back, and that will be the team fight over with. It's a bit sad when that happens. You think you're going to just actually pop off when you switch over to the Doom, but unfortunately the team got just overrun by the pressure in the front line, and now Outlaws sitting a nice couple of ults of their own too, Hex. They got EMP, and they almost have that Meteor Strike 2. If they combo this with the self-destruct from Meko, this could be rather deadly.
I mean, you run Echo to pick which ult you want, and Doomfist's ult is not good. I don't really like that. It's not a good ultimate.
Oh. No, you're good. I thought they were going to combo with this or something, but Doha instantly fell as soon as he got EMP'd, so they don't actually need to do any of that and can just sit on another 4 ults for this next fight.
Yeah, Houston's able to just absolutely hold on to everything that they have, but Dallas can come in here with Rally. That's going to give them an enormous advantage. No armor on the side of Houston.
Yep, cold start of the fight. Notice, also low. No healing available for him as Blase lands on his head rather swiftly. Uppercut to get away from the pulse bomb too. Guests work with the punch to try and kill Decay, who is pestering the back line, and now Outlaws. Hex, they're only 10% away from taking this fight. Dallas Fuel have ults to come back with, is where they can actually get back on the payload. Doha's going to be looked to want to touch. Plus he has that ult to survive too. He can transform into somebody. I can imagine Doomfist to get the ultimate rather fast, but he instantly gets hacked. What a perfect prediction from Dante.
Completely deleted.
Oh,
Decay's now out of it now too.
Oh no! Hydration got boofed off the map by Guangzhou's Primal Rage. You don't normally see it, even Hydration letting out a swift LOL in the chat. Dallas Fuel managed to get back to the point in time, but OT is ticking down. Do they get back? No, Outlaws can't quite touch. Guangzhou's ultimate saving them at the very end. Managed to get rid of Hydration, who had the Shatter ready to go.
Yeah, I think some of that comes down to just experience, right? And look, Hydration's a good player, but he came up as a damage player, and then he started playing the main tank for this Houston team, played a lot of Orisa, and again, that still remains the big question mark. He's played some Reinhardt, but you don't think... When you think of Hydration, you don't think about Reinhardt. That's all I'm trying to say here. So, a lot of stuff that you need to get done a little bit early. Does he try to shatter off the edge? Nah, it's just a swing.
Oh.
Into the drink. The tank line for the Dallas Fuel has been steadily improving all year. We know what Guangzhou can do. Note when he gets to play Diva, still one of the best Divas in the league, although his Sigma is improving. And here you go, Jaws. This is like tailor-made for you. We got a Zen on the field.
Hey, Zen Brig. Not a lot of healing, unless the Brig can get in to melee range. But the idea of this is just dive, insta-kill target with Discord, and then go again. Problem is, Blase and Dante are playing both Sombra and Genji. A really good counter to the Zen. However, a lot of damage onto Meko's mech. Yep, piled full of orbs, as well as that Discord being laid on top of him as well. Issue is, of course, Doha did end up dying first, so it will be a reset for the Fuel.
Well, Houston has to capture this point still. They do get back down to the point. Fine, yeah. I haven't played a ton of Divas since the patch, and she looks very fast right now. Diva's looking pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Rather swift engagement there. Of course, it is dive after all. Crimso almost has this ultimate online too. Way faster than Dante and Blase. He's just done so much damage already. The idea will be here to try and negate both the EMP and the Blade at the same time with a perfectly timed Transcendence, but if you're the Outlaws right now, you just want to wait for that Transcendence and bait it out with the Blade or EMP, then follow up with the other one, or you can just do this. Pressure out him long enough to try and bait it out without using either of those. A stick onto Hydration's chest, and that will be him going down to Paintbrush, of all people. Dallas Fuel now trying to take over the point with the help of that healing. However, Doha does end up going down. The EMP does rock through the Dallas Fuel, and now the Blade can come out. That Transcendence, where is it? Oh, it's already gone. An easy kill for Blase. The follow-up as well onto Note. Even the beat to secure the fight too. They do not want to lose the control of this point.
Well, they threw everything into that. That Blade wasn't looking all that mighty to start off with, but then they threw in the barrier to make sure that the Blade was able to live through that, and at 60%, in a point that's really, really hard to take back, especially when your team has high ground heroes. Like, who are you going to send up? It's going to be Note to evacuate the Spire, but Dallas does have a rally that they can open up with. Tank ultimates are available, and DPS ultimates will get there.
Oh dear, yep, you want to get out of that ASAP. Don't want to get hacked, you'll instantly get killed with the Tracer. He's trying to pay attention to Dante right now, doesn't want to go for this reset or just a hack as well. Oh dearie me, that pulse bomb, yeah, maybe that got interrupted too, I'm not entirely sure, but he did try and stick onto her Hydration, but Hydration gave him a quick swing. A hack onto the Winston 2, his life is very much over, and the Outlaws, they still control this point. Note is trying to stall for some additional time, sends out the self-destruct, and even Doha changing into a Diva to try and get back on in time and survive for as long as possible. His self-destruct has to be big, but Mecho's could be a little bit bigger. Throws it to the back, and even Dante sitting on this EMP. This looks so lost for the Fuel, and so winnable for the Outlaws. 99-0, as they eventually use it. 4 people caught. Guangzhou doesn't quite go down just yet, but Blase getting the resets. However, Doha still doing a lot of work. And in fact, this fight might not be over. Blase got one with his ult, and this Coalescence actually coming back into this fight, and somehow, how are the... What? How is this
Oasis,
happening?
Man. Don't try to understand it. Just
the
watch.
Fuel have managed to not only survive the EMP, but survive the Blade and a self-destruct kill from Mecho too, and they managed to flip. Okay, the Fuel now managed to control the point. 99% for the Outlaws, however.
Yeah, Decay looking for some redemption here. Like, Decay's a great player, but you don't double blink into a Reinhardt that's looking at you. You're gonna die. It doesn't work that way. But Dallas in control now. Guangzhou has his ultimate ability, and Decay trying to get something going on in the backline, at least distracting. There's the ult.
Oh, watch out, Hydration. Oh my good god. Guangzhou trying to go back to the moon. He's going to try to, but that Coalescence ran out, and oh, there he go! Oh, straight into the car by Repel. Where's your fade now? Oh my word, and Decay finishes Dante off as well with a swift melee. There we go, the Fuel win the fight and still hold the payload.
Nothing tickles me quite like this map's environmental kills. It's all fun and good to knock people off of the maps, but to knock people into moving cars, for some reason, makes me laugh so hard. And I don't think Repel saw that coming. Just right up over the top. He thinks he's safe in the corner, but then just uses the physics to knock him into traffic. Dallas 2 fights away here, and their economy's looking really, really good. Houston should be banking on Dante getting his EMP and then blading. Dante charges very quickly, so you only need a single fight if you're Houston. Don't waste before that.
Oh, you might not need any, to be fair. That's a beautiful shatter onto Note, making sure he can't remech. They still have that coal going on, and Doha has pulled the blade in the Echo form. It's going to get a reset on the mech. Easy kill for the Fuel, but the Outlaws, like you said, have to rely on this combo to now win. 80% for the Dallas Fuel, and they have this beat to survive the EMP. It's just about finding Paintbrush if you're Dante at this very second.
Yeah, you have to do it. And Houston knew, like, Dante was at like 50, 60% before that fight happened, but Dante's so good at Sombra, you know you're going to have this combination. You might even beat your way in here.
Yeah, there's the beat. The bait's going to come out as well. Crimson's already dead. Paintbrush with a perfect beat, but a perfect EMP followed up by Dante. Those shields stripped away, as well as Guangzhou and Note's life. OT is here, but the Outlaws take control of the payload the point even in the end. And they're going to secure City Center as soon as they clear off Decay. He's got the pulse bomb, but is it going to be a flip around? No, it is not. A miracle can really only happen once. And they tie up 1 apiece on Oasis.
I mean, we talked last time about Houston finding their own meta and it really being very helpful for them to run a Tracer and Ashe, and Houston had the pieces to do that. If this does eventually settle on a Sombra meta, Houston is going to be in a very good spot. I believe I just looked at the stat. 33 enemies hacked, 14 EMP'd from Dante. That's what makes his Sombra so impressive to me. He's really good at EMPs, but he's not just an EMP bot. Like, he was getting 3 and 4 on every EMP, but the individual hacks from Dante have always been what makes him stand out. He's always on the right spot, the right angle to get those hacks, and often he's his own follow-up, too. He'll hack someone and then kill them with it. Like, if this turns into Sombra Genji, the Outlaws lineup does not look bad.
Okay, almost the same kind of comp for the Dallas. Our Crimzo is on the Batiste instead. A bit more beneficial for the Batiste on this map. There's a lot of walls you can hide your MSRT field around. But a very aggressive dive from the Outlaws. I mean, get in the backline ASAP. Just make sure you can give Dante and Blase the space to work with and build up those ults as fast as possible. Even find these manual hacks too. In the chaos of it all, if you're the Sombra, you can basically hide in your team and just hold down right click and wait for the hack, because you're rather unlikely to actually get interrupted. People have to really focus you to make sure they can tag you with 1 point of damage. And you saw at the very end there, Dante was just able to hack the Brig, and you get instantly killed because you can't use any of your abilities.
Yeah, even to start it off, he hacked Note. And when you're running a dive composition like this, Note is the guy with the defense matrix that's going to be able to get you in. And with that hack down, everyone takes so much damage that they get the cleanup.
He is in trouble, and Repel chasing everybody away with his ult poo. Yeah, all the way back to the spawn doors, my word. I mean, play up, man. You've got so much space to play with, plus you have space-making ultimates as well. Now, you have the Blade and EMP coming online. You've also got the Shadow and the Self-Destruct. They're not letting Dallas Fuel anywhere near this point.
Nah, and the Coalescence comes out, because Coalescence, as soon as you get it, you fire and forget it. It charges so fast, and I like that Houston's being aggressive here.
There's the Blade. No EMP needed so far. Gamsu goes down, resets to the Shadow on the floor, gets blocked. Well, at least for Note. However, Paintbrush not quite so lucky. Dante managed to end up going down to Decay, who was backcapping. Got the pulse bomb kill, stopped about 4 or 5% going through, plus has enabled them now to push on to this point. They've got to be wary though. Dante's going to spawn soon. It has this EMP available to him. The Coalescence to end the fight a little bit quicker for the Dallas Fuel. However, there's the EMP, there's the Self-Destruct. 5 people hacked, but they managed to scurry for cover and get back just in time. A hack onto Note might just end it all though, as this Repel Coalescence is just tearing through the front line.
They've been really focusing Note to taking away all the utility of this off-tank, and that's really hurt this kind of style that Dallas is trying to run here. And whether it's D.Va or it's Sigma, they've been taking Note out of the equation early. Now trades 5v5.
Oh, Decay eventually finds Dante on the recall. He spotted the Translocator and was just waiting for him, but maybe he waited a little bit too long. Paintbrush kills off Blase and is nearing this beat too, which is going to be able to keep them in the fight, but Houston Outlaws pull their beat a little bit quicker. They drop it on them, but Dallas Fuel managed to get a 6-man one of their own, and now can push forward on the aggressing Outlaws. Hydration ends up falling over as he was so low, and the beat had ran out in the end. Doha has the Blossom, doesn't want to pull it just yet. Eventually hits the trigger. Repel and Dante fall over, and this should be Dallas Fuel's fight to win.
Houston in that great spot, though, at 99%. We are tied up here on Oasis. One single fight for Houston will give them the series lead. And, you know, we talked about it when he was Tracer, but you just let Dante dictate it. You let Dante make the call. You wait for this. 60% ain't nothing but a thing to Dante here. I think that's about 20 seconds away at most here to try to get EMP Blade.
Got to be careful now. Yeah, they know exactly where Dante was. That was a perfect position for Decay to be in. Blase finds a 2-piece with his Blade, but Hydration now is in a whole world of hurt. Decay still causing an absolute nightmare for the Outlaws backline. There's nothing really that can stop him. Decay has just been performing out of his mind. Not only is he tracking where Dante has been and where his Translocator is being placed, but he's making sure he doesn't destroy it almost instantly, so Dante thinks he's safe when in reality he's not.
Yeah, Decay has been running wild, and he's actually done an amazing job of shutting down the opposing Sombra, which is super difficult as the Tracer.
Doha? How did he get to the backline so easily? Repel already used his Fade and he got 2-tapped. However, both of the Moiras have gone down. They're relying now on the Lucio healing, which means any big ultimates like the Flux are going to hurt even more without a beat. GXA falls down to it, same with Hydration. And now Dallas Fuel in a very winnable situation. They just have to, well, big ask, but mitigate the EMP here from Dante.
Well, I mean, it's the EMP is going to lead to everything else. Both support ultimates are up for the Houston Outlaws, and they're going to have a shatter. You EMP and you throw everything you have at this. It is the last fight, and Dallas not a checkmark in sight. Maybe Decay has an enormous play, but Houston on paper should win this.
Oh, the hack! He didn't even need the EMP, and that beat pushed him forward too. No, Crimso, Paintbrush, see you later. All hacked up. The EMP was late, but it was perfect. Now Dallas Fuel have Decay in the back and Gamsu on the ball to try and touch this point in order to secure OT, but It's going to be a big ask. Even Blase now on the Doomfist, and Repel using this Coalescence to push and force cooldowns out from the Fuel. Decay throws his Pulse Bomb in, doesn't find all too much. Doha unleashes a Death Blossom, but it was only death for himself. Blase falls, but it should be a laissez-faire affair. Laissez-faire affair. I messed that up. I'll talk to Mitch about that later. Self-destruct comes in. The Outlaws eventually clear them off, and they end up securing the first map.
What a first map to go between these two teams. I mean, just Dante exemplifying what I mentioned about him is it's not always the EMP. It's real easy to run Sombra as an EMP bot. It's real easy to run Genji as a Blade bot. But what do you get outside of your ultimate? And to win fights with individual hacks. They won that very first fight on University because he hacks Note, and then later, I think he gets a hack onto Doha or Repel, and he's getting 2 hacks in a fight, and I mean, EMPs in their best day, you're usually asking for maybe 3, 4 people EMP'd. If you get 2 hacks in a fight, it's like you just used an ultimate without using the ultimate. If Sombra becomes what we think she might become in this meta, Houston is in a good spot with one of the best Sombra players. And second verse, same as the first when it comes to meta-wise. Houston Outlaws will go as far as Dante can take them. Hydration with a good rhyme, though, too. I was a little surprised by that. Pretty aggressive.
Yeah, I like seeing Hydration jumping over to the main tank run. He's been good on Orisa, and now looking pretty damn solid on the run, like you said. I mean, now Outlaws' momentum is behind them. We're going to jump to a quick break, though. Map number 2 coming up soon.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. Deep flavor, deep crunch. It's a mind crunch. And by Zip Chair Gaming, the official chair supplier of the Overwatch League.
I think our recent victories against the Outlaws are definitely due to the fact that we have stronger players overall and a stronger coaching staff overall as well. And I think the 4th win in a row would definitely prove that we're the better team, and I think definitely would count us the Kings of Texas.
Well, it's the Battle of Texas. We're going into map number 2 after those spicy words from Note, saying that they not only have better players, but better staff as well behind the scenes. But the Series A is looking all green so far. Outlaws with, and off the buck of Dante's massive EMPs and hacks, a 1-0 up in the series so far.
Yeah, no, pretty much just said we're better in every way. I mean, he used a lot of words to say that, but he said we're better in every single possible way over Houston. However, the first map didn't go that way. And I think if you're Dallas, now you understand this is what Houston's going to play. It shouldn't be really surprising. I mean, scrim numbers have come up that, like, Sombra's getting played, and some things like that. And if you look at Houston, you're like, well, that would make the most sense for them to try to play a Sombra in Doomfist, a Sombra Genji. No substitutions either, so Dallas can expect some more Sombra, and especially since we're going to Volskaya, Jaws. I mean, if you remember, even before Sombra was meta, Volskaya and Sombra went hand in hand, always very, very good at this map.
Yeah, there's so many places you can hide away as the Sombra too. If the defensive team doesn't take high ground, that's Sombra's best friend, because the one way you can counter Sombra is just trying to make a recall. Sometimes it's a little bit harder when she's kind of dipping in and out of cover, and we saw what just a single hack can do at the very end. I called out that Dante, well, he has EMP. The main tank, yeah, better be pretty scared. But it wasn't actually the EMP that really started it all off. It was just a hack on the main tank. Oh, Ryan, no shield, no abilities. He gets run over. And then when Dallas Fuel was kind of struggling and scrambling to get the team fight together, they then got EMP'd because they had to get to the point 2 to cause OT. Dante, not only just a fantastic Tracer player, but Sombra really coming into his element. Once again, of course, he did really punch a hole in Sombra play earlier on in the year and previous years as well. But it seems like the perfect meta for Outlaws. I mean, what could possibly go wrong here?
Yeah, I mean, for now, as the meta shaping up, but, like, I mean, Sombra on defense on Volskaya is so good, too, because the packs are so readily available for the defense. Like, that's where you're always hanging out, is small pack on point and mega pack on side point, and it's right there. And to have a Sombra there and have those hacked takes it away from the offense and makes sure that your supports actually can just go DPS-wise, because everyone's just getting packs all the time. So, right now, you know, we're only the second set into the Countdown Cup, right? So we don't know if we have an established meta. But given theories and thoughts, you think that Sombra looks good, and that would play right into Houston's comfort zone. And right now, Dallas has to figure out how do you stop it. I mean, do you run a McCree to try to deal with a Sombra? That's not the most consistent, but McCree can still be good in this meta. I mean, that's just the question. Because I think right now, if you're Dallas, you know what Houston's going to run. I feel I know what Houston's going to run, so Dallas is smarter than me. They have figured it out.
That's one way of putting it. That's probably the nicest way of putting it.
Well, everyone's smarter than me, as it was not like the highest of praise, but, you know.
No.
No, but like, we talk about Houston all the time. It's like, it's Dante and the boys, which is fine. I mean, Houston's, the support lines played better, the tank lines have played better, but it is really Dante's Tracer is going to carry you, or Dante's Sombra is going to carry you, and Dallas has to figure out how do we stop that? Just how do we stop it?
Do you run a counter zombie of your own? I don't think so. I think sticking Decay on the Tracer wouldn't be such a bad option either, because you saw what he did.
Yeah, oddly enough, it was a really good check. Yeah, it was a really good check on the Sombra, and you're playing with fire when you're playing Tracer against Sombra. You get hacked, you're dead. I mean, Tracer's a potato hacked. Like, you have to have the mobility to dance around and maybe get those clips, and Sombra's gun's pretty good, so if you're hacked, you're going to lose that. But also, Tracer's really good at getting to the spots that Sombra wants to be in, and also just the spray to spy check, I guess, would be the term from another game I'm going to borrow for trying to find Sombra. Just spraying around and making Sombra's life difficult, and I think he did a really good job on Tracer of checking the Sombra, so we might see a little more of that.
I would imagine so, especially on the defense. I could see that. I could also see a world where we see Ashe too. We are just about to get into game, guys. Do not worry. It's a small little tech issue, but it's all fixed because we have a lot of tech wizards behind the scenes. So Volskaya is the map, and I think the main crux of the issue, especially with Assault, is when you run Sombra, it's very easy. Just go, okay, we build EMP, we win the fight, and then we build another EMP, and then you win second push fight, right? Because EMP. Especially on maps like Volskaya, there aren't too many places to hide. On second point, a little bit more so, but first point, not so much. As long as you're just kind of around where the mega pack is, you're going to be able to hit 4 to 5 people, because that's just where people group up, especially on the defense. Your healers want to be near the mega pack. Also, mind you, the packs get hacked when you EMP. So, like, it just adds insult to injury as well to those supports trying to hide out and avoid all the incoming fire.
Yeah, I mean, Sombra's always been good on Assault because of that exact same thing. Volskaya's second point, though, it feels like there are spots you can hide out as a support, especially some of the supports that have, like, the distance healing. Like, Bap can just hang out up top, Anna can hang out all the way in back. But Dallas's defense right now is running a Brigida and a Zenyatta. Zenyatta, you'd think would be easy pickings for a Sombra, but right now, Houston just going to run what looks like a pretty pure dive, except they're going to add in a Brigida, and Brigida's dive potential still up there. Even though you're not getting armor, the distance packs are still hugely important.
Hey, we've seen the Dante Tracer yet again. Man, I love these comps, actually. With the Zen. I think I'm just saying that because I'm seeing Zen, I'm not going to lie. Zen definitely my favourite hero in Overwatch, or one of a couple at least. Zen's very fun to play. Rather vulnerable in the backline, though. You just have to rely on your aim to really kill people, plus obviously your other support. Super fragile to a dive, however. Decay does end up going down. Whoops-a-daisy. That's a good start for the Outlaws. As all Blase needs to do now is survive, just farm off of the tanks, and they should be as good as gold. However, Gamsu with a double kill onto Chexay's face, the elite on top of it. Now Blase's in a whole lot of trouble. Spawn advantage for the Outlaws, though. However, being quick heroes, the Dallas Fuel comp should be able to get back to the point rather swiftly.
I mean, Dante's trying. Dante just got 3 there, but it's not going to be enough. However, it might open the window for Houston to come back in with a small spawn advantage, but it seems like they're just posturing up. Both teams should be at nearly full force by the next time we get through there. And I don't know, man. Hydration on the Winston. It's, you know, it's not his hero, but maybe he's been practicing. Maybe he's been grinding. Gamsu with the better Winston life on the first go about, at least.
Yeah, I want to see how they're going to approach this fight. I mean, they're currently just stacking up like you normally would, dive in the back line. Nice little boom. Doha manages to get out rather quickly and pull the blade too. Nice little defect. Zen, unfortunately, mate, you don't stand a chance. No Transcendence, no win for the Zen. A very quick blade build up for Doha. And it always was a duel between the Genji and the Zenyatta when it comes to dive. Because you want to get the Transcendence as quickly as the Genji gets the blade. Normally that was very easy to do, is the Zenyatta. There's a lot of big bodies that you can kind of shoot at, like Gamsu and like Note, or just like the tanks in general. But now with Genji's buff, Genji charges blade just infinitely quicker, it feels like. It's a bit more of a tougher time for the Zen than it ever has been.
Yeah, and you're never going to win that 1v1 unless you have a volley queued up and everyone's discorded already.
Wow, the perfect peel almost there from Meko. Just did everything he could to try and get everybody away from Repel, but unfortunately that's going to go a little bit awry, and Decay managed to take him out. Even though the pulse bomb in, did end up missing the Zen. Small stagger on the Baby Diva 2. And Dallas Fuel, once again, continue to hold. 1 minute and 20 seconds in the time bank now for the Outlaws.
Yeah, just like that, we're down to 1 good push and maybe 1 half good push here. Houston Outlaws has banked up several ultimates. You might want to just wait for all the check marks. But you can open with Rally here. I mean, Rally into Blade can be very good to give that extra armor that Brigida no longer just pumps out. And they've got everything. They've got absolutely everything. Dallas is going to need their support ultimates to come up huge.
Okay, Rally into Rally. Pulse bomb slightly wide. Hydration now with the ult too. Going to try and dive in, bash people towards that self-destruct, but doesn't end up quite working out. Doha with the blade, he pulls it, but Repel gets the better of him this time around. He's going to get discorded too, but he's so close to that Transcendence. Outlaws, this is your fight to win currently, as Blase also has the blade. Crimzo with the armor pack 2, continually staying alive. I don't know how at this point. But he does use the Transcendence, but not before Gamsu does end up going down. However, Outlaws are now putting themselves on the point with 20 seconds remaining. Dallas Fuel have a long way to walk back from that second point. There's still bodies there that can defend for the time being. Gamsu even now on the Wrecking Ball to try and get back to the point in time.
Repel has absolutely been defending his own life against all of these DPS players who are coming in after him. Crimzo's going to take the better of him, and this one's not quite over yet, but Houston with an enormous advantage, and even if they need it, they could throw in a rally. They shouldn't have to use any of this. It is all inevitable that Houston should be able to pick it up. Why not? Pulse bomb's pulse bomb.
Yep, there it is. It's done. No thank you. A nice little spray kill. 2 people there. Crimzo and Gamsu go down, and 3 minutes added to the time bank of the Outlaws. They did end up using Rally at the end of that just to secure the fight, Hex.
Yeah, I mean, the only issue right now, and we'll see if this changes throughout the weeks, is that Houston's main tank is dying a lot. Like, Hydration has 5 deaths. He's been the first death most of the time. However, the damage dealers have come up big, and really, Repel is absolutely fighting for his own life, and he's killing all of the damage dealers who are trying to dive in on him, and actually slows down a Tracer and a Genji. If you get rocked by a Zen, you don't want to go in again.
Discord Orb and a couple of shots from Dante. That does mean Crimzo is dead. Only one support available now on the point for the Dallas Fuel. However, with hydration going down, there's a lot less space to really work with. A perfect recall from Doha. Zipping back with his translocator. Was able to get out of that pulse bomb. That stick was perfect from Dante, but not good enough. Even Crimzo there just holding his own against Dante's dive, and a Transcendence to save everybody from the Blade too. Just looking all Dallas Fuel right now as they do bundle their way back on to the point. However, a Transcendence from Repel after that EMP. It looks good for Outlaws. This situation, this going backwards and forwards. Just because if you save the EMP for that long, Repel's definitely going to have ults. They have 2 ticks now on the board, and Doha's coming back on the Reaper. Guangzhou has the mines to restore some additional time. The self-destruct ends Hydration's life as this fight is somehow still going. It's been about 17 minutes right now on the clock for this fight as the mines do manage to separate the rest of the Outlaws. However, Blase with reset after reset takes care of both supports, and now they just need to take care of Decay. They do just that. Now D.Va on the point. That should be it. There you go. No, eventually goes down, and 27 minutes later, the fight is over and the point is capped.
We talk so much about Dante on the Houston Outlaws, and some of the tank questions you have. The big consistent factor for the Outlaws the last several weeks and even previous metas, Jex's Brigida has carry moments like that. I mean, like, yeah, it's showing up on the kill feed like that, but like it's happened time and again for Houston where they're maybe not hitting their damage ultimates, and all of a sudden Jex's got a 4K in the kill feed. Like, his Brigida has gotten steadily better and better and better every week, and it seems like Brigida's not going anywhere in this meta. It's going to be Brig or Bap, and it's going to be Brig and Zen. It's going to be Brig and something. She's still just that good, especially when you get those brawl situations, get stuns, really important, and he's been such an important player for this Houston squad over the last several weeks, being able to play that Brig, and Mace to the face gets him a 4K.
Man, that Transcendence really carried them though, I'm just saying. I don't care how many Brig kills are in the kill feed, it was all Zen. It was all Zen.
We all have our biases. That's
true. Pretty
no,
true.
Repel played really well. Mostly, like, I thought first point he played outstanding because both Decay and Doha took a run at him, and he was able to fend for himself, which as a Zen you have to be able to do. You can't always rely on Peel. If there's times where, like, you should be winning 1 out of every 2 or 3 1v1s that are forced upon you to be a really top-tier Zen, and Repel was able to do that.
Shows you how good Brig is, though, still, regardless of this nerf, because Zen is still being able to be played, even though he can't receive just an armor pack to make sure he survives the dive. Brig's armor just from Rally is still ridiculous, plus her being unkillable and having a stun, of course, and a shield and 250 HP with armor. Still pretty good. Dallas Fuel granted a lot of space to the Outlaws. You can see Outlaws currently being able to move freely almost. Kind of almost baiting them in, making sure they can get Dante to set up. Decay now just trying to find a way into the fight as well. Now
he's trying to get pack control.
Yeah, goodbye. Fights happen just like that. You discord the back, and then they went for Decay to set up. This is it. Like, they were giving a lot of space to Hydration in that situation, but Hydration just couldn't get really as much done as the Fuel could. Still a lot of time in the bank as well for the Fuel as they move on to next. If they can finish this fight up now, which they're going to be able to do, that is, what, like almost 5 minutes available, which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a dive that doesn't look like a dive. It's just, it seems to the defenders that it's just Guangzhou coming up front. But meanwhile, in the back, there has been a Tracer crouch walking to walk down the stairs. You think of dive as like double blink in with your Winston, but no, just right in the back line. They did not expect it. All those low health targets and a field day. And now Dallas has both damage ultimates up. But more importantly, look at Paintbrush versus Jexy. 100% to 50.
Feels like he could be a little bit more patient with that one, but he does throw in. It does not connect with Repel.
Rally advantage.
Rally to start the fight off, though, from Paintbrush. As Decay now just waits for the dive to come in from the Winston. Gamsu's going to do just that, and Doha surrounding them in the small pack room. Oh, you're not surviving that one, I'm afraid. Repel was 15% away from that Transcendence, and I talked about it before, the ability to charge Blade infinitely quicker than the Transcendence nowadays. Blaze's going to have to touch. He's going to have to find something massive here, but Crimzo, as soon as he hears the voice line come out, or he gets forced out to use the Transcendence now, but the defense from Note was just too good. Transcendence, an insta-kill onto Paintbrush, the slash and the dash, killing off the Brig. Transcendence healing is going to see them through the start of this fight, and Gamsu not quite being able to kill off Blaze. Deflect, making sure none of that damage from the Prime Ranger actually ended up hitting him. Defense advantage still for the Houston Outlaws, as they managed to kill off Dante in the end. And Crimzo, yeah, he left in no man's land, unfortunately. You're going to get cleaned up. Ooh, no, the 1v1. Oh, he doesn't quite get it. No, Blaze ends up winning it.
They get just enough kills. It was looking actually really rough for the defense there as Jexay went down early in that fight, unable to charge up the rally, but now he's got rally. However, Dallas, with 4 minutes remaining, can take whatever fight they want on their own terms here. But that's it's really nice for the defense to be able to get a couple of those kills that looked all the way bad. You need that Brigida up, especially on this kind of point where it's just about space control, keeping your brawl composition alive. Houston able to do that. 66% for Dallas as they look to push forward. Perhaps a Blade, perhaps a pause, as it seems like someone might have DC'd here.
Auto
Yes.
pause.
Auto pause
Yeah.
means that somebody DC'd. We just don't know who that is just yet. It seems like, I mean, I think we're cursed here, Jaws. It seems like every week we get we get an auto pause tech issue. Gamsu is the one who has left the game. We'll see what kind of tech issues those might be.
What's with that, huh? What's this curse?
Yeah, I don't know.
understand.
Your stuff went down like 2 minutes before we were supposed to go live today, too.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was really cool.
That was awesome. I liked
I
it
had
a
a heart
lot.
attack. I was like, yeah, I did, like, got changed, did my makeup and stuff. I'm like, gonna go sit down. I'm like, well, everything just DC'd. Sweet. Like, TeamSpeak goes down. I'm like, wait a second here. Something is wrong. My
It's one of those
senses
moments
are
were you just
tingling.
like, yeah, you just instantly just start sweating. All of a sudden, you're just soaked, and you're like, oh my god, I'm so stressed out right now. Luckily we got it back online, but we have a pause here, of course, a ghost in the machine. We don't know exactly what it is, but that's going to definitely slow down Dallas's attack as they lost their main tank here. Hopefully, he can get reconnected to the game. Blase saying, I miss Gamsu, so do I. I don't like being in pauses. I've used all of my food antidotes today for filling earlier, trying to get a Sparkle interview, so I have nothing more to say about pizza and the benefits and detractions of all pizza styles. So I don't know, Joz, what do you want to talk about?
We don't have to talk. It's okay. You get to see some cool footage rather than seeing our ugly faces. We're going to jump to a quick break, guys. We'll be right back, hopefully in a minute.
Summer Showdown. Best of the final. The hottest esports tournament event of the summer. Shanghai Dragons bring the heat after their May Melee reverse sweep to face off against APAC Firecrackers. Guangzhou Charge. Philadelphia Fusion grill up some independence for season rivals and all-around good team Paris Eternal. Don't miss Summer Showdown. Best of the final. Exclusively on Best of the Week.
The curse of Jaws and Hex strikes again.
As we just watch players leave lobby after lobby after lobby, all sorts of players. I don't know. The funny thing is expecting something to work in 2020. Like, what a meme. Like, expecting anything to be fine in 2020. Not so much. So we're still running into a ton of technical issues here. I don't know. I just look at the screen and talk about, like, ninjas and stuff, so I can't tell you what the answer is or what the problem is, but, yeah, still having some issues here, Jack.
Crimzo's camera's still online. I'm intently watching Crimzo to make sure. Crimzo, if you're okay, give me a thumbs up.
I really want that to be the name of your autobiography. Intently watching Crimzo.
Intently watching Crimzo.
It's a good title. Sounds good. It's
Are you
compelling.
okay,
I feel
Crimzo?
compelled.
Have you run out of Jack in the Box? Give me a thumbs up if you're okay.
Jack in the Box. Always there, always ready to deliver. It doesn't matter the time of day. You can always get breakfast from Jack in the Box.
Pretty true.
Not bad. So we're sitting in the middle of Volskaya right now. It is Houston versus Dallas, Battle of Texas. Houston was able to take the very first map just to, actually talk about the game here. Are we back? Are we getting there?
Well, Note is back. Half of Note is head. Yes, okay. Well, now it's
half of Note is back. That's our
I saw
update.
half of his head. Half of his head was back. Half of Paintbrush's head was back too. So
okay.
Hopefully we'll get into the game rather shortly. I think everything's currently maybe on fire. Not sure, but we should be getting into game rather shortly. Like Hex said, we are 1-0 up right now in the favor of the Outlaws. 33% on Volskaya for the Fuel, pushing on to second point. And they've still got quite a bit of time left, 3 minutes and 30 seconds to be precise. So they've got a lot to work with in the next fight. They've got Blade and potentially a Transcendence too.
This one feels like a Dallas win. So far, they just look a little bit better on this map, have a little bit more time, but Houston was able to bring it back from the brink on their defense, so who knows how this one is going to shake out as we're still trying to really figure out the meta. I mean, we've got like a 2016 meta right now that I'm looking at. 2016 plus Brigitte. Like, that's it. It's Kenji Tracer, Diva Winston, Zen, and then you always add another support. I mean, like, classically, it'd be a Lucio or even a Mercy if you're going to run pure dive, but Brigitte, pretty good, especially when those things brawl, but we're back in like pure dive right now on both offense and defense, and you love to see it. I love to see it. I mean, dive was my favorite meta of all time, so.
Yeah, definitely one of mine, like 100%. I do, although, I'm going to say it. I was going to say it. I love goats. That's because I was a Zen player, and I just get to go do.
Yeah, you and I have disagreements on goats. I mean, my thing is always like, I don't dislike any meta. Yeah, that's the thing. So I don't dislike any meta, but I just want it to change at some point in time. And like having, 4-5 stages of goats was a little much. It's okay. I understand why people liked it. It allowed main tanks to be damage players. It allowed supports to have a great deal of fun. But at a certain point in time, I do want to see a little, point and shooty kind of heroes. I like seeing McCree and Widow and things that have to aim. I do like having to aim in first-person games. I think that's important. I think it's an important aspect of the game.
Do you know what's really important? The current discussion that's happening.
It's a lot about brisket.
Yeah,
which makes sense. At Battle of Texas.
Ketchup and cheese. Yeah, any of you as a kid have cheese and ketchup sandwiches? Me and my brother used to love them. And it looks like, I don't know who that was, maybe Dante called for... No, Blase called for hydration and Note to be kicked from the team, so it's 5v5 because they have apparently disgusting taste in brisket, so,
Cheese and ketchup? You just out-Americaned me. You had cheese and ketchup sandwiches?
Yeah, man. They were actually really good. Although not so much anymore. I look back at it, I'm like, did I really eat that? But yeah, as a kid, I don't know, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I'm just watching everyone leave the game right now, so it seems like we're going to be in this for the long haul. Although I will put another controversial food opinion out there. If you're over the age of 12 years old and you're still eating ranch dressing or ketchup, you need to reevaluate your life. Those are not condiments for adults.
Really? Ketchup? Okay, so I'm not a big
Ketchup is a
fan
little
of,
bit like ketchup on crinkle fries. I can let it pass, right? But like for the most part, ketchup should be used very sparingly. And ranch dressing is like you're not even eating the food; you're just eating ranch. It's such an overpowering flavor.
That's why I don't really have a lot of like dressings and stuff, because it's like it's not socially acceptable to drink ranch or ketchup from the bottle. And what I'm saying is that it feels like you're just eating the sauce. Yes.
Exactly.
Like
yeah.
the
It's got to
thing
be
or whatever.
subtle.
Do you have?
They don't even have ranch in Europe, do they? They call it like
Yes, they do.
American. So, yeah, but they don't call it ranch dressing, do they?
Yeah, in the UK they do at least. Yeah. Do you
Oh,
have
okay.
HP brown sauce in the States? I don't even know. It feels like I've not been outside in like 4 months. But HP brown sauce on like a sausage sandwich or like a bacon sandwich, UK bacon, not American bacon. It's the most top tier sandwich, like breakfast food that you can have, like hands down.
Well, this is making me very, very hungry, and I'm sure it's also making you very, very bored at home. So, in lieu of game action, let's go see what the player comms were like in the Summer Showdown.
Oh, man. Nope.
Ben?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm fine. My mic?
Yeah, I think.
Gotta have white noise to drown out the crowd.
Nah, facts, man.
I'm about to open my windows. Like it's like the
God.
people on the sidewalk, they're like the crowd. I'm like, yo,
Is that a flyer?
is that a fly?
Man, we're so funny, guys.
Yeah, good ones.
Funny group of gamers.
We do keep making into that little comms check thing.
They're so funny and marketable and foggers. You're making excuses.
What is excuse? I understand.
Yeah? Okay, explain to me. What is excuse?
No power.
What? It's like, oh, I didn't do my homework because my dog ate it. You know?
Okay.
핑계.
Oh.
Finger, you idiot.
Hey.
Respect.
My camera's pointing at my bed when it's halftime. I'm about to go lay in it so the cam.
Yes.
Oh my, I'm gonna puke just looking at this. Oh my god, I can't.
The admin just started recording. The admin just started recording, dude.
Admin started recording. Cut.
I almost locked DPS out of habit.
What happened? For the match?
Stop, yeah.
Yeah, we start, bro.
Hey guys, welcome back. A few tech issues with everybody, but we should be getting into game rather shortly. Outlaws against the Fuel, the Texas Showdown. Right now, Outlaws, if you only just joined us, you joined at a good time because we should have swept everything under the rug and we should be getting back into Volskaya. Outlaws one map up currently over the Fuel. And everybody is just, they're just spamming numbers in chat. That doesn't really help at all.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, they're trying to throw off the admin. Admin's like, hey, 30 seconds back, and then it just devolved into this nonsense. At least everyone's having a good time. Just to catch you back up, we are in the second map between the Houston Outlaws and the Dallas Fuel. Houston was able to take control in a 3-stage affair, and Dallas has looked like they're in control of Volskaya here so far.
They look like it. 3 minutes and 30 seconds, or 36 seconds in their time bank. They've got 66%. They just need one more tick. Then they get to go to the next round. Houston Outlaws 1 minute and 17. And of course the 2 points on the board. And we're back! Woo!
We're back, and there's Blade up, and that's how they try to get their last tick. There's not a whole lot for the Houston Outlaws defensively. They don't have Transcendence up, but they could rally defensively to try to stifle this Blade.
Yeah, they could. Everything is correct now. Ooh, nice stun onto Dante. Kind of knocked him out of his post bomb positioning. Oh, still sitting on this Blade. They've got quite a bit of progress on the point as well. It's going to be fairly important when it comes down to it. Houston Outlaws are going to have to sit on the point right at this very second. Decay trying to set himself up for a post bomb. He spotted where Repel is, trying to get the armor off him as well. The stun! Oh, that was so close to actually just interrupting the post bomb cast too. Doesn't manage to even find Jexay, so Dallas Fuel are going to have to go once again. They can't really force anything at this point, and Repel has had all this time too to actually build up towards a Transcendent, so he's got that to match Doha's Blade.
Yeah, back to the drawing board. Decay, I think, was discorded there if I heard the noise correctly, so he's going to be able to be spotted out by both the supports. He saw the Zen looking at him, and then, of course, the Brigida looking at him too, and that's not the position you want to be in a Tracer. As a Tracer, you want to be invisible before you Pulse Bomb. Not able to have that one work. Blade out.
Well, there's the Blade. Transcendence is going to be there to match, though. Didn't quite get the dash combo off either, so a Blade looking rather dull. Another Transcendent from Crimzo, but Gamsu has already fallen, so Dallas Fuel resetting once again. Now they have 2 minutes to go. This shouldn't matter, at least I don't think it should, as Dante's going to be able to get back in time.
The Tracer v Tracer doesn't matter there, he'll be back.
Oh, he lost himself there as the platform was above his head momentarily. And they put themselves on the point once more. They're rallying up to now on the point, so everybody just wants to group as 6 to get as much value from this arm pack as possible, or the rally as possible. Self-destruct high in the sky, everybody scurries for cover. However, whoops at Daisy. Note actually dies to the remech of Meko, and Jexay ends up killing out Doha. So once again, Dallas Fuel are going to get reset. Another 2 minutes of burn off their time bank.
Yeah,
Houston
that's a
Outlaws
situation.
holding with full force.
You don't see that too often. That kill feed line is a rarity, of course. Dallas is going to have to bank on their damage ultimates coming in. Houston Outlaws are a mile away from their support ultimates to be able to deal with this Blade, to be able to deal with this Pulse Bomb in the backside. So Dallas could open here with a Primal and just create chaos. And in that chaos, can Doha and Decay carry this Dallas Fuel like they have so many times before? It's their last good push. They're not going to get another good one. They may get another push. Backside, Decay already trying to line it up. They don't see him. They don't see him.
No, they don't. Oh, no, they do now. They do now. The Briggs saw him. Jexay is just sitting on top of Repel, and he should do just that. Dante's Pulse Bomb lands straight into onto Crimson. I think this is going to be it, surely. I mean, Dallas Fuel have one fight. He might be able to go in with this a little bit longer, as they do have the Blade, but Blaze's going to be... He helped out with his Blades. Repel used that Transcendence early. Now it's Doha's time to strike, but they're not at the full 6 people, so... In fact, this is Dallas Fuel now having to retreat.
This is a little bit weird, but they can use an offensive Transcendence. This is actually what I thought about when I thought about this meta. Transcendence with Blade as a combo offensively. We might just get to see it being tested out right here, because that's all Dallas has.
Anything they've really got. Maybe they get Rally as well if the fight lasts long enough and Paintbrush gets that 25%. Doha looking for a place to engage. He's going to wait for the Discord Orb to fade away. There it is. There's the Blade straight on top of Jexay's head. He kills Repel, kills Jexay too. Oh, but it's now OT, and Outlaws are going to get granted a free attack regardless if they do end up capping or not. Doha finds 3 people, and Note even needs the Pulse Bomb too. The perfect team fight for the Fuel is going to mean they have another round and a chance to draw this one up now, because Outlaws managed to finish with time. 1 minute and 17 seconds to make one push onto the first point. My word, that blade was so clean. But it was just little to nothing. And they didn't manage to cap with a second of time.
If Genji sticks in the meta, you'd have to think Dallas is in a good spot. Because they have like 3 really good Genji players. So like whoever's not playing Genji can just round out whatever kind of damage dealers you want to put in there. Really nice play from Doha. And we just think about like, okay, can you still run Genji? Well, yes, still very good. But what do you combo it with? Well, Rally, Beat is good. Like anything you can add into the blade is always going to be an advantage. And there, like the Transcendence wasn't even going all the way back with Doha, but he always had the escape to be able to get back onto the point because they Transcendence at the same time. Transcendence often thought of as a defense to the blade, but it's also a blade enabler to get all of that healing in such a wide area. Dallas able to pull it off. But Houston, only 33% away. The Sombra here, 117 is about average of getting an EMP. I'd have to look at the numbers really, and I'm sure Matt will tweet at me and correct me at this point in time. But 117 sounds like enough time to get an EMP, and you only need 33% if you're the Houston offense.
Well, if it's anybody that can build up an EMP that quickly, it's definitely Dante. It's going to be a hard-fought effort, though. There's a lot of protection, but if you do hack a tank, like you're going to be able to farm them, like D.Va, for example, just so easy to farm. Her head hitbox, of course, in the center of the model itself. Dante spotted out the spawns. Look at this. He's just trailing them, making sure he can try and find a hack. Now he's just going to look for it. Bubble's going to go down. He gets interrupted with the LOS. But they've made the error incision, and Paintbrush and Crimson are running away, and Hydration managed to get the pin kill on Paintbrush of all things. Dante's still getting interrupted and has to get out of there rather fast. They do trade the kill with Hydration going down as well, but now Dallas Fuel on a knife's edge. They've got no healing remaining. It's not going to be up to Decay to try and find the kills. Dante's made his way back onto the point, and Gamso kills off Meko. It's still a chance for them to come back in. Decay finds his 3rd kill of the fight. Dante manages to get out of there rather fast as the Outlaws get cleaned off. They're now on stalling heroes as Hydration jumps over to the ball. 17 seconds now remains for them to actually cap Hex.
Dallas is going to have damage ultimates up, and it's going to be Blase versus Doha to see who can get this blade first. The blade is at least going to open things up for the Houston Outlaws as they go in, and Repel will have Coalescence. I like Houston's position here. They don't need much.
Fuel don't have the mech though either, so no, only just getting it back now could be disaster. Already Crimson has fallen to Blase of all people. He's spotting out one of the DPS on the high ground, and Repel goes down as well. Decay making play after play. He has to close this one out. They've got hardly any healing left, but Blase pulls the blade. There's one, there's another, and this should just be all over. Paintbrush falls, and the Outlaws claim the map and match point in the series.
2-0, the Houston Outlaws go up. It was not the Sombra that decided it. It was actually the Coalescence that opens it up for this team. And we talk a lot about damage healers, and the meta has dictated that we do just as much. However, support lines are still winning games, and right now the Houston Outlaws support line, Repel, is fending for his own life and making everyone else's job easier. Jexe still in on Brigida. The support line for Houston looks really, really solid. They're enabling the damage healer. Blase has come back into his own. Houston looking like a much stronger team than the Dallas Fuel right now, despite what Note thinks, them having better players and better support staff. The results on the screen, 2-0 Houston Outlaws.
Now, once again, the meta really suiting the Outlaws' strong suits. They have Blase coming in and playing the Genji, playing only the slight bit of Doom, and I hope we see more of that, but his Genji's looking clean. Dante is just as consistent as ever on the Tracer and the Sombra. It's looking rather good. The battle for Texas this time around might swing in favor of the Outlaws for the first time in a year and a bit. In fact, maybe over a year and a bit. The last time they ended up winning against the Fuel was back in 2018. We're going to jump to a quick break, guys. We've got Watch Point to break down this game a little bit further. We'll see you in a bit.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by ZipChair Gaming, the official chair supplier of the Overwatch League. Welcome to another game break presented by Pringles Wavy. Zoe here, joined by Costa and Reinforce. And the Houston Outlaws are currently leading 2-0 against the Dallas Fuel. Now, of course, we have to talk about what we just saw. Heading into that first map on Control. Reinforce, you're kind of, I think the kids call it molding behind the scenes. Looking at the comms we saw coming out from the Dallas Fuel, maybe you want to walk our viewers through your thought process.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously emotionally invested in this series because I was the only one who actually predicted the Dallas Fuel to win. So, looking at the compositions we saw on Oasis, not my favorite from the Dallas Fuel. I think that the Houston Outlaws, they came into this game with a plan, what they wanted to play, and they executed quite brilliantly, whereas the Dallas Fuel, they swapped up their compositions quite a lot. They didn't put Doha on the Genji straight away. Instead, we saw some Echo, and then we saw some Reaper come out. And I'm like, okay, yeah, well, you're adapting, you know, you're using your intelligence to try to make this work. But it didn't seem like they were entirely comfortable in what they were playing and what their plan was to beat this Houston Outlaws team. So I'm a bit disappointed by that fact. Note was on the Sigma and not a D.Va like some other players we've seen. I'm a bit, you know, wondering about that as well. It's hard to play a Sigma into a Sombra and a Doomfist because you get run over so easily, but it felt like the Dallas Fuel, they shot themselves in the foot a little bit with some of these compositions they were playing.
Yeah, I think we saw it standardize a lot more as we go into the second map of Volskaya Industries. The major difference I'm seeing in this matchup thus far is the Dante Sombra. I think Decay is obviously doing a lot of work on this Tracer, but the Dante Sombra is shutting down a lot of what the Dallas Fuel is trying to do. Every time it feels like they start to get momentum or they're winning fights, they have massive EMPs, they're getting good value hacks, and that's playing to their strength of Dante on that Sombra because he's been historically great at it. And as you said, it hasn't been massive differences. It just feels like every now and then Dallas have these like weird comps that it just doesn't really make sense. But it was better on Volskaya, just couldn't get across the edge on the end.
Yeah, I mean, Outlaws definitely had a rough start here at the very beginning on Volskaya. They barely managed to capture one and then kind of managed it on to B. So Dallas was in control for the first parts on Volskaya. Who turned it or what turned it around for the Outlaws?
Honestly, I think the Outlaws, they just play well together as a team. They know that they cannot rely too heavily on hydration on that Winston because he isn't the best Winston in the league. But they're doing what they can with it, and they're playing this kind of passive style, I'd like to say, that buys time for Dante on the Tracer to unlock some of these teamfight wins. And then you have Blasé can pull out the Dragon Blade once in a while. So I actually like this sort of passive approach we're seeing the Houston Outlaws take, and it's forcing the Dallas Fuel to take some of that initiation, which is essentially is forcing mistakes. If you take a look at the Tracer stats between Dante and Decay on Volskaya Industries, you can see that Dante is making more out of it with his Tracer. You can see 11.3 final blows per 10 minutes over Decay's 10.7. It's sort of similar, but the damage is the biggest difference for me here, and it's Dante doing a lot of work for his team to get some of these teamfight wins. So an impressive performance all around for both Tracers.
Costa, what are your thoughts on hydration on that Winston, or also even on the Reinhardt? I mean, usually I would direct all kind of tank-related questions to Reinforce, but I do want to get your more neutral view on it.
Hey, I hit Masters in tank one time. It was sick.
Sure.
So, like, for me, you can tell just from the eye test that hydration isn't 100% comfortable. His Winston mechanics definitely aren't at the top level like we see from other main tanks in the league. But as Johnny said, they are playing around it very well. They're not relying on hydration to make these big moves, make these big plays, make these solo plays. They're playing around it, and they're using hydration to create space for their DPS players. Hydration knows what his role is. His role isn't to win the game. His role is to give space to the rest of his DPS players and let them pop off.
Absolutely. Well, we do have a great crunch time presented by Pringles Wavy prepared for you. This time it's a good play, though, Reinforce, right?
Yeah, it's just a good play from the Houston Outlaws. They come back clutch on the Volskaya Industries. Good job, Zoe. Thank you. But the Houston Outlaws, they come back in Volskaya Industries, and Dallas Fuel, they're about to cap point B, 96.2% on the cap timer. And it's honestly so close. Look at the timer, 4 minutes and 15 seconds remaining, right? So if the Dallas Fuel would have managed to cap this out on point B, that would have been monumental for the Dallas Fuel, and surely they would have walked away with the win on Volskaya Industries, and that could have, flipped the series on its head. But instead now, because the Houston Outlaws came back and won that fight, they're now on a 2-0 advantage over the Dallas Fuel. It's going to be ridiculously hard for the Dallas Fuel to come back into this series and actually reverse sweep. They could do it with the damaged players they have, but it's going to be very hard.
Yeah, but also we do see some subs coming in and someone going out. And Costa, you've mentioned it in our pre-show, so I want to toss this one very quickly to you. Yep, DK's out, Onigod is in. Last thoughts, what are the Dallas Fuel planning for Route 66?
There better be a good composition and strategy behind this. I really hope this isn't just the case of let's put Onigod in for the third map. We saw Dallas Fuel do this with Trill way back when, and it's like they make this roster swap. It's not necessary, and it sometimes costs them a lot. Decay has been really good this series. I don't want to see him coming out unless there is a very good reason. So I hope to see it. Please.
Well, there has to be some composition in mind here.
They're definitely playing with their backs against the wall. They are down. This could potentially be the last map for them in this Battle of Texas. So let's see if they have an ace up in their sleeve or just an Onigod. I don't know. We'll find out in just a second.
I got up their sleeve.
Heading back to Jaws and Hex. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles Wavy. Big crunch, big flavor. The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home, or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome back, everybody. I think we were live for a little bit long there before I said anything, but hello. We are in the battle for Texas, the Fuel versus the Outlaws. Currently, the Fuel, they're down 2 maps. Can they bring it back? Now's the time to do so as we jump into Route 66. A small substitution as well on their side. Decay is stepping out, and we got Only God coming in.
Yeah, it's kind of curious because Decay, I feel, can play almost everything that Oni God can play. We'll see what they want to run him as, and maybe it's just getting him playtime, but you're down 0-2. Playtime is kind of a distant consideration, in my opinion. You just want to win matches and win the maps. Houston's historically not been great on Route 66, but history in Overwatch League, hard to really gauge considering the differences of rosters that we have going year to year. And Houston just looks like they're outclassing them. Mostly, like, it's been the support line, I think. The Houston support line has finally really come into their own, and the Zen has looked good, the Brig has looked good, and I'd imagine that Houston's going to continue to run that, and Dallas just really hasn't had the answer to that. I mean, Crimson and Paintbrush are working well together. What I like about both these teams is it seems like about a month ago they decided, like, these are our guys, these are our 6 or 7 guys we're going to run. Houston used to just sub out people all the time, or bring in this support or this tank. Houston has finally really stabilized of, like, these are our 6 guys. We're going to go to the wall with it no matter what, and even have Hydration playing like Winston of all things. So I like that they've been stable. I think that a mark of a team that's still struggling is a team that's making a ton of changes all the time. Both these teams have stabilized, but it's Houston who is 2-0, living up to that number 5 ranking in Johnny's power ranking. So yeah, for once in his life, Johnny wasn't wrong. That's nice.
Oh, a miracle. An absolute miracle. I'm joking, Johnny. I love you, really. But this was, if you only just joined us, 3-3 currently historical scoreline between the 2 teams.
Yep.
Very much the Outlaws starting that off at the very inception of the Overwatch League, winning 3 games against the Dallas Fuel, and then it's flipped completely around. Then the Fuel were then winning the battle for Texas. 3 wins in a row for them. Like, this is stretching all the way back, of course, to the very beginning of the Overwatch League. But now, hey, are we going to get another 3 wins to the Outlaws next time they face off? I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Like, it's really cool to see, regardless of who's on the teams. It's cool to see these rivalries build up over time and which city is better, right? You got Houston or Dallas, and it's very cool to see that in general. And I can imagine the Texas fans are kind of cheering. Houston fans, they're maybe cheering a little bit harder right now. Dallas fans, definitely, you need to be posting more on Twitter, I think.
Yeah, very passionate fan bases. It's like big swings in fan bases. The moment that Houston or Dallas wins, they consider themselves the best fans and the best team in the league. The moment they lose, they're like, I knew it all along. They're always disappointment, right? So it's always fun to watch Outlaws versus Fuel. Like, if you want a bunch of Twitter interactions, it's really easy. You just mention either of these teams, and you'll get about 300 interactions. So it's super passionate fan bases. Outlaws have looked like they're getting better and better, though. 6-11 is their season record. Dallas 5-8, but Dallas has had a really brutal record. I thought this was going to be the match that Dallas would maybe take and start thinking about being a top 5 team. It's looked all Houston so far.
Oh, Lord, that's a good start for the Outlaws. That hack on a very aggressive Doha. Instantly taken out, and then a dash backwards for Blase as he finished him off. Look at this space now they're being granted. They're going to have a lot of payload control too with hydration. The problem for Gamsu here is that he's got 1 dive target, and it's going to be Crimson Paintbrush, but that's very hard. So ideally you'd want to kill off Only God, but the protection that he's going to get granted is a little bit ridiculous. Gamsu is going to struggle here, I think, on this Winston pick. Engagement on the top side. Blase getting a 4-man dash, maybe 3 or 4-man. That's a lot of free ult charge. 70% on this blade already. You see the hacks coming through as well. I'm continuing to look where Dante wants to position and who they want to take out. He did go onto Paintbrush, but he managed to escape with his life. But still a lot of free space given to the Outlaws here. There are only a couple of meters now remaining before they actually cap this point number 1. Gamsu finds everybody else in a small room, and now it's just an ult charging battery as he gets hacked. But Doha doing the damage with the blade. Manages to help him finish off hydration. Does get taken out in the end, but with 2 tanks falling, it does look like a reset for the Outlaws.
Well, a little bit tough there for the Outlaws. The tanks got a little bit too far up, and I think that's just hydration, still on this learning curve of being a main tank. Of course, there was Orisa main, Orisa out of the pool, has to play this Reinhardt now, and both Meko and Hydration went a little far forward. They ended up going down, and once you lose both your tanks, you're in a tough spot. However, Houston's swing back here is EMP, Blade, and Barrier are about to be ready, and if they're able to get Paintbrush with this EMP, that means no rally, and Houston should roll through it.
You've got to think they're going to rally early. There's the Blade. The EMP is going to come through momentarily, I can imagine. However, they're going to use the beat first. They're trying to save it, maybe. Dante's still in a good position on the high ground, but he's going to eventually hit it. But Hydration and Blase are already dead. That seemed like a rather easy save of the ults, but they're still going to make this work. At least try and win this fight. Only God and Crimson are going to die, but there's a lot of people still on the payload for the fuel. Plus, Paintbrush was able to get his rally off too, so that armor stacking up helped the fuel survive all the incoming damage.
I mean, it's a 6-man EMP, but all day we've seen ultimates go down. But once you lose one of your DPS, who's going to clean up that EMP? They didn't have Blase there for that EMP cleanup. And yeah, you hacked all 6, but there's no one to really capitalize on it.
Oh, that self-destruct's big. Yeah, and that hack in the front line, or attempted hack onto No, isn't quite going to go through. And Repel using that Coalescence to force everybody back straight in front of Hydration for him to cleave through everybody else. He's now getting bullied. This is a problem. Please, someone help Hydration. Eventually, he gets helped out and is able to swing away. Bob is going to get let loose in the back line, but nowhere near the payload, so he can't even contest, meaning the Outlaws are going to get this cap.
Well, now it's about the retreat, too. Can they get out clean? Jexy's trying to get some late kills onto the remainder of the Dallas Fuel squad. I think they got okay respawns, so it's not going to be just a stagger cleanup. Dallas is putting up a fight here, but Houston has already built up ultimates. EMP ready. There's a Shatter ready, too, and Beat again. Jexy's charging this Beat super quick.
Super fast. I mean, you're going to save it for the Blade, right? Or the Flux would be more appropriate.
Yeah.
So again, baiting
but
out
Flux is so far away.
Could also just EMP the Flux too. That's also a viable strat. Window on the bridge. Yep, Crimson, you're not going to hit through the window from there, unfortunately. The rest of the Outlaws are just scurrying away, making sure they don't take any free damage. I think they want to save this EMP, to be fair. They just want to use their SMP, I think. Would make the most sense to me. They're going to take the high ground.
Payload continues to push. Now Houston taking a very strange angle on their offense, trying to wrap around left.
There's the EMP. Oh, there's the Shatter as well. That beat, just everything thrown in, but Doha just baited them in. That's 2 kills. Hydration and Dante go down to the Blade. A nice boop up by Jexay, but can they actually follow this up with anything meaningful? Only God also falls as the support and the DPS line for the Outlaws still managed to make things work, and even a Blade for Blase to secure this fight. Both teams throwing in everything they possibly could. And now the ult battery, that is Gamsu in the Primal Rage, is going to get cleaned up by Blase as well. That looks so winnable for the Fuel as Doha managed to find a 2k, but they managed to not only Jexay get away with this life, but Blase too. He knew he was so close to the Blade in a turnaround, and that's exactly what happened.
It's Jexay getting that boop on a Paintbrush. Paintbrush had Rally ready to go, but he got launched off into eternity. Jexay continues to impress, not only on the Brigida, but now on the Lucio, and that turns everything. They open with Cole.
Goodbye. Yeah, that was all with the aid of Jexay once again, just booping the Sigma off the high ground, the Coalescence, forcing everybody into a small corner. And then that was, well, rest is history, really. You burn Immortality Field to try and save Note, but he actually gets pushed away by the D.Va mech as well, so he was nowhere in range of that one. Perfect setup play for the Outlaws. However, Dallas, they still have a lot of ults to work with. They got this Flux, they're going to have Blade 2. We can see what we saw earlier, Hex, on Havana, where they use the Flux and then the Blade cleans everybody up.
Yeah, Flux Blade. I mean, anything Blade can just be called a combination. Blade only works when you have other ultimates working with it, and Dallas in a decent spot. I think like you're not going to get a ton of value probably out of the window, so you might use it just as a stall tactic here. Sit up on top of the semi-trailers and just poke away so that Houston has to give up space and you can take and delay this card.
Yeah, the Flayed is what I'm going to call it. The Flayed.
It's better than Blanco.
No. Blanco's sick. Oh, the hack onto Note was actually massive. He was trying to use the Eat to try and absorb all that damage, but the hack from behind by Dante, who's been so good at setting up these individual hacks, regardless of EMPs, if you ignore that fact completely, Dante's positioning has been just been so perfect. And they've even got the Blade and EMP to work within this next fight. In fact, 6 souls. Hydration's near in his too. This looks almost unwinnable for the Fuel.
Though.
Flux coming out, EMP's going to hit, and it's going to hit something rather different. That beat comes through as well. The Dallas Fuel don't stand a chance. Doha taken out of his blade, and a blade for Blase looking good. He gets taken out by Paintbrush, but the damage has really already been done. Even a Shatter. They've got everything and more in the bank. Guangzhou is just trying to stall for some additional time and making sure people can get out. Even Bob now getting launched onto the payload, but he gets booped instantly off. Dante clicking on heads as he does. And that should just be it. Self-destruct launches Bob even further. And it's now just staggering onto the point for some additional time being burnt away in 57 seconds in the time back for the Outlaws. Not too bad whatsoever for Route 66.
I mean, if you look at Dante play on his Sombra, and we've mentioned it already, but going for those individual hacks, he has EMP up when he's going for these hacks. And he only uses it when the hack fails or the line of sight gets broken. He's trying to hack off-tank most of the time. Because if you really think about the value of a hack can get, off-tank is all about utility. You got so many abilities that help out your team, whether that's a D.Va, whether that's a Sigma. Being able to hack an off-tank has been the priority. Note has been hacked more of the game than he's not been. And then when it doesn't come through, he's like, all right, I guess I'll just hit Q. You can't stop this one. Able to get all the EMP damage off. Yeah, I mean, if this ends up being a Sombra meta, it looks really good. The Outlaw supports and tanks are playing really well. I'm stunned by how well Hydration's playing. And his team's allowing him to do it. They're hacking other tanks, and Hydration is in... So Reinhardt is one of the heroes that's either the worst thing ever to play or the most thing ever, like the most fun thing ever to play. Either you're getting bopped around, abused, and hacked and CC'd all day and you hate it, or you just get to hold left click and just swing away and rock an enemy team. And right now, Hydration is holding that left click and swinging the hammer.
The true melee hero is Reinhardt. Oh, they're going to hold close too. I love the close holds, especially with the Sombra. So easy to tag people up from the high ground, and you can get away super easy as well.
Yeah, that's what we saw in Havana. It doesn't cost you anything. You still get to fight where you were going to fight anyway. Maybe cost you alt charge, that's about it.
I just have the Sombra at this point.
Yeah, it can be really good here.
Doha's actually switched over to the Echo.
Alright.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Trying to get away from the Sombra and the Genji. Oh my goodness, Meko took a face full of damage, just sticky bombs and everything. Yeah, there's the Mech gone, which basically means the D.Va's gone, and there you go. Simple as that. Blase died to a dynamite of all things. Beautiful shot from Onigod. Cracked hit scan, that is for sure.
Well, there's nothing to be able to stop Doha here, right? Like, maybe you can poke at it with Dante, maybe Meko, but like, you pretty much just have free reign as Echo in the sky right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tough. I mean, a hack's going to end him. He's like far almost. And you're going to be able to do that if you've got good tracking, like Dante, of course, does.
Yeah, but if you're far enough away, you're not even going to get hacked. Like, the hack range isn't that far.
It's also very easy to kill the Echo too. If you're Paintbrush, you just throw an arm pack up every now and then. Crimzo that can then focus on the front line. So you kind of know your individual roles in that perspective. I like that as a healer, just knowing that the other healer has the one of the other DPS at hand, and it's like, okay, you heal him. I'm just going to ignore that and heal the tanks, which is exactly what is happening. Unfortunately, Paintbrush does end up going down, so Doha now a little bit more vulnerable. And Blase just with the farm. Guangzhou's going to use this Primal Rage fairly late. But if his DPS is dead, Doha's still alive with ult, they can still fight this. As Blase manages to build up a blade off of the Primal Rage in Winston.
A duplicated D.Va should open up some space for him. They should get self-destruct off this, but good disengage, though, from Houston.
Yeah, maybe. This ult obviously lasts for eternity, so he should be able to get it. However, the hack will force him. No, you're not going to be able to get it anymore. There's the blade, there's the beat, straight on top of the head. Blase finds one, ends up getting whip-shotted, but still killing off Crimzo's good. Paintbrush's rally only hit him, Guangzhou, and no, so Doha only got her a little bit vulnerable still. Hydration has managed to find himself in a little bit of a sorry situation on the Mega Health Pack, as now the Dallas Fuel, spawn advantage, and person advantage as well on the points. Doha finds him in the small room, laser beaming them down, and that should just be it for the first point.
Maybe. Dante is still messing around behind, and I think they might have a body to get back in here and contest. They do. Oh, yeah. They throw the Genji at it.
Yeah, Hydration comes out with Shatter as well. And Meko can self-destruct, maybe. He's got 4% away. Beautiful Shatter on Onigod, finishing him off with the Fire Strike as well. Coalescence to keep the fight alive, but Dante ends up going down. Both DPS fall for the Outlaws, and they've only got one ult to try and make this fight work. Meko self-destruct's going to have to come in rather clutch. Gamsu backs away behind his bubble to make sure he doesn't get insta-killed, and has even earned himself a Primal Rage as well, just all for some additional time on point. Dante and Blase are going to have to come back quick sharp to make this one work, but Jexay falling. It's looking all fuel right now as Note finishes him off with a triple kill. Make that a quad kill, in fact, as a fuel cap the second point.
Yeah, Note Sigma has been one of the best bright spots for Dallas over the last month and a half, improving and improving. You think of him only as a Diva player, maybe as a Reaper player if you're really into the deep lore. However, his Sigma has gotten better and better. We also know what Gamsu can do on that tank line. Dallas needs that kind of performance out of Note and Gamsu to be able to hang with these teams. Only 3 minutes remain, though, for the Dallas offense. Remember, they have to finish out this map, or the King of Texas will be the Houston Outlaws.
I love the wraparounds from the defending team to take this cove. That's a big EMP. Yeah, Gamsu's going to get instantly chunked down. There's no way you're going to be able to survive that one, my friend. Into Blase dashing through everybody to reset after reset. I know how much you love him, Hex. Hydration as well with a nice little double kill. Jeez. Dallas Fuel. Dallas Fuel get completely team wiped as the Outlaws now sit on the payload.
Well, it's a 4-man EMP, and they're able to absolutely clean it up, but it's really important where that fight happens. Now Houston can hold right on this front point. It means they're going to definitely get 2 fights through the second phase of Route 66. And Houston's going to have to push into Shatter.
Oh no, he hit the shield. That would have been such a sick Shatter. Unfortunately, well, fortunately for the Fuel, Note was quick on the draw with the shield. Doha changing over to the Moira. This is what we see a lot of, actually, when Echo first came onto the field. The support change, because you can earn these ults so fast, and the Coalescence just does so much work. You have triple healer plus the extra damage from the Coalescence. It's just ridiculous.
Well, Moira's got that kit where you can do damage and do healing at the same time, and you're 100% going to get your ultimate as Moira. There's almost no way possible you can duplicate a Moira and not get your ultimate unless you immediately get flashbanged and shot or something along those lines. So really nice play there, and it's a good hero because the transition between damage and healing is so seamless. Dallas will continue to push. They'll drop Window up on top, and that's going to hold Houston out on the backside, but Blase sneaking around. No one sees him.
Yeah. I think he's waiting for Dante to potentially get a hack. Dante's also scurrying around, you can see. Yeah, Note's been hacked now. Blase has the blade. He ends up pulling it, but can he find anything? The Immortality Field already goes down, and he finished off Only God. A reset into Paintbrush. A 180 as well to get back to the rest of his team to stay alive. And the Dallas Fuel, once again, win the team fight basically off that hack and one ult. They're going to be able to hold them just before the second point, and Hex now 50 seconds remains.
Houston's been playing so patient today, and that's what's really impressive, is they're playing not just for EMP blade combinations, they're playing for hacks, they're playing for individual kills, and now Dallas down to 45 seconds with only Graviton Flux. Paintbrush should get to rally, but all of that could be negated by an EMP, and Hydration has another Shatter. I'm kind of rooting for Hydration to do this. Like a former damage player coming in on Reinhardt, we shall see, but it's Dallas's last attempt, or they're going to get swept by Houston.
That EMP was so big. No, he's just getting bullied. Actually finishes him off, and now, with 20 seconds to go, Dallas have lost their main tank, or they're about to, as Gamsu gets hacked. Dante is playing out of his mind, but Only God making sure they stay in the fight with a headshot onto Repel. And now the rest of the DPS, the Outlaws, have to play safe. Blase is not going to get found out just yet. He's hiding away. Oh, they spot him now. Yeah, you're dead, unfortunately, my friend. OT is here. Can the Outlaws get back to the point? I'm not sure they're going to be able to. It's so close to getting delivered. With 3 people on it, they should be able to secure it.
No, I think they're giving up on it.
There you go. Yeah, 1 minute and 20 seconds, though, especially on this last point. With the comp that Outlaws have, these EMPs are going to be huge.
Repel and Jexay are the ones you want to watch here. Both support ultimates up. Dante, of course, with another individual hack, and he's trying to take down the Ashe. Ends up coming through. Jexay on their support.
There are 3 of the Outlaws people in the backline of the Fuel to take down Only God, and they took a long time doing it as well. Both Blase, Dante, and Jexay were trying to take down the Ashe, and that was it. Enabling the Fuel basically to have a 5v3, and of course, the numbers advantage and numbers game, they end up winning that fight.
Yeah, Houston's just trying to stall out. They're fighting the clock here right now. Like, even if Dallas wins these fights, Houston's taking every single fight possible. Because the first, like, if Houston wins a single fight here, they probably win the series.
Well, they're nearing that big combo. Repel gets killed mid-Coalescence too. They unleash the beat to try and salvage this fight, but Hydration and Blase are just going so low, having to scurry to health packs to try and stay alive. But like you said, they are playing the time right now because they have got Blade, they've got EMP. They may not have their support ults to back it up with, but they're just hoping for this one combo team fight win.
Yeah, that was brutal. Houston lost both of their support ultimates trying to push into that one, but it is now EMP Blade time. That is all Houston has. If Paintbrush can avoid this EMP, that's going to be enormous. A preemptive rally comes out first.
EMP hits 4, the blades come out. Blase just trying his hardest to kill Paintbrush, but he can't make it work. And Doha changes it into the Genji, pulls the blade of his own. Crimzo's killing off people before Doha can even get to them. Overtime is here, but the Outlaws, they're all but dead. As the Fuel managed to cap the 3rd point. They've granted a minute, but look at the Outlaws time bank as well. 1 minute and 57 seconds. They're not quite crowned the champions or the kings of Texas just yet. Houston Outlaws and the Dallas Fuel have at least one more round.
I'm just trying to decode what this chat means right now. A little bit of trash talk going back and forth between these two teams. I'm not entirely sure what exactly prompted, do you need an ankle brace? Maybe someone got juked. But really, that's Doha putting his team on his back right there. Like, gets in there with the Echo, gets a ton of damage done, then turns into the Genji, has a better Genji than the actual Genji. And meanwhile, Guangzhou has just been going nuts. I don't think we've given enough credit to his primals. His primals alone have probably won Dallas 3 fights on Route 66 alone.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, actually. Yeah, Primal Rage there at the end was exceptionally good.
Well, you think about, like, on first, in Earls, like, he won that alone. He knocked everybody into the corner and got, like, 3 kills on just the Primal. It's nice to see main tanks on Winston, man. Like, it's so mechanically demanding. Even though you don't have to, like, aim. Primal Rage is, like, one of the hardest ultimates to use and use right.
Oh, yeah, juggling people is just absurd. You see, obviously, the best Winstons every now and then juggle Fire Mercy combos. That's always my favorite kind of clips to watch. Okay,
very aggressive forward hold from Houston. Yeah, just looking for early hacks and dashes.
Oh, he's trying to go for Doha. Look, the entirety, in fact, of Outlaws just aiming towards Doha.
What
yeah,
a
6 people running at you. Yeah, you're dead.
Yeah, Blase dashing through the sky. Get that follow-up there. Really nice play. Only 30 seconds now for Dallas.
It looked like Onigod was almost checking for Dante there by throwing in the dynamite, but yeah, Dante's actually onto the other side, unfortunately for him. Blase playing super aggro as well, straight into the spawn, but with Hydration going down, he has to play a little bit more safe now. Because they're playing so far up, however, like you mentioned before, was quite classic. This obviously happens. This happened for the longest time in Overwatch, just holding this far forward, especially in comps like GOATs. You're going to want to make every fight worth it. They do clean them off, but Outlaws are going to be able to come back with an EMP, you can imagine. He's only 30% away.
Well, EMP Coalescence, also a solid combination. Repel's going to get there. Repel super far ahead. Crimzo is going to have ultimate, but I'd rather have Coalescence than I would Amp Matrix. Amp Matrix, not the best ult in the game.
Still pretty good, just saying. Better soldier.
I mean, it's fine
to
just leave.
Oh, here it is. He's on the high ground, so he wants to try and find something on the side, but already Paintbrush and Doha are going to go down. There's the coal. Dante hasn't even got EMP yet. They've already killed almost the entirety of the fuel. Blase's going to be able to earn the blade as well, but it doesn't look like he's actually going to need it. The EMP at the very end catches a 0, but that's because they were already dead. The fuel stopped just after the side on Route 66, and Outlaws now have an extremely clear win condition to take the series 3-0.
Victory EMP, if there ever was one. Dante just throws it in for good measure at the end, and right around the bend is where Houston Outlaws are going to try to 3-0 the Dallas Fuel. And with 2 minutes, it's a lot better than 1 minute. Almost twice as good, I dare say. But it really means you're going to be able to get ults up. And you can dictate the fight. You can dictate the pacing of the fight. When do you want to go in? Do you want to use EMP Blade? Do you want to wait for Coalescence? You might get 2 Coalescences with 2 minutes, actually. The way Repel is playing right now, he's been getting Coalescence about every minute. Always open with that, and it doesn't seem like any changes compositionally, although Dallas on the defense is going to run a Sombra of their own. Doha's going to pick that up. I mean, hacking a Genji means Genji's kind of useless, too. You think about, like, heroes with very little primary abilities that aren't awesome, like Tracer and Genji. Like, you hack a Reaper, it doesn't matter. He's still just shooty shotguns, right? But you hack one of these guys who need their abilities, that's usually an insta-kill.
Shooty shotguns. My favorite hero.
And it just doesn't change a lot for Reaper. He still wants to walk forward and shoot you.
He hold W, he hold M1, he Reaper. Pretty true. Yeah, they're doing the same sort of thing here, yeah. So, don't with the hacks. Hydration, Winston. You'll have to see it. Oh, Mecha gets hacked, yeah. Okay, back, team. Let's just get full HP, wait for hack to go, and then we'll go again. Maybe changing up to Ryan. Ball? No. Okay, that was the biggest bait in the history of baits. Okay, very cool. Hydration. Thank you for that. Only got still charging up a fair bit here. Hydration's job is just to try and isolate the tanks using the bubble to stop all that healing going through. He does end up getting hacked, but Gamsu and Note are fairly low as well, so they're going to have to play rather safe. And Blase just doing as much as he can to build up this blade in time for this fight. Hydration falls, so a reset for the Outlaws as almost half their time bank has already disappeared.
Well, they did get a little bit of push. I'm just trying to figure out if they need to win 1 or 2 fight in this scenario. I think 1 fight should get them there, actually, given that they got some meters pushed on the card. Houston has opened it up a little bit. That's a rough one. It's a nice shot from Onigod.
Back. Hold S, everybody hold S, or hold W if Note dies. Nope, he's good. Crimzo's there. Oh my word, that gave me a heart attack as well. Okay, look at the fuel ult bank though. Jeez, this is Coalescence, this is a Flux, this is a EMP, and that is a Bob.
Yeah, but Houston can open with Rally here, and they'll have Transcendence. If they get EMP'd and Repel can find his way away from that, and Transcendence for the rest of his team, I think actually Houston's in an okay spot. All about execution here, pretty even ults.
There's Bob, extremely early Coalescence, not quite enough to actually keep Gamsu alive. Blaze's going to go in as well. A perfect tackle on Crimzo too. Now he jumps straight after Onigod. The coach got away, but into the rest of the Outlaws. Repel finishes him off. And now the Outlaws, with 15 seconds remaining, only need to get it about 30 meters before they take the series 3-0 and are crowned the Texas champs.
Well, Outlaws also have some ultimates to use. Dallas can come back in here. They have their own EMP. They have Bob. They have some stall-out tactics. However, Transcendence is ready to go.
Look where Repel is playing. He's playing so far back. If an EMP comes out now, he hits the Transcendence button, he hits the win button. Oh, the Flux hits nobody as well. The early Transcendence might cost them it all, though. They have to win the fight now, or this could be over. Doha just needs to wait this out. The EMP's going to come out, but he gets hacked! Are you serious? He gets hacked out of the EMP! Dante, you absolute beast! Blase takes a bullet to the head, though, and ends up going down. The beat from Paintbrush might seal the deal, though, as Hydration ends up falling over. The overshields are going to see them through the entire thing. The perfect EMP from Dante to take Doha out of his own EMP. It didn't matter in the end, as Dallas Fuel are still in the series. Outlaws are going to fall on Route 66. Dallas Fuel,
as is tradition,
staring right down the barrel of a reverse sweep.
You can change the roster all you want. Outlaws versus Route 66 has been the theme for several years now. Can't pull it off despite an enormous EMP to take down Doha. Houston unable to find the kills to finish that one out. Dallas scraps it up and does not go quietly into that dark night. They are still alive in this series. And, you know, like, look, Decay's a great player. Only got hit some sick shots, like single shot onto Sombras and really put the fear of God into Dante as he was trying to play that Sombra. The Ash from Onigod was next level, kind of good. Dallas versus Houston. It would have felt wrong if it was a 3-0. We're going to go to map 4.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in a sec. We're going to jump to a quick break. Do not go anywhere. Reverse sweep is still possible. We'll see you in a bit.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by HyperX. Unleash your style, unleash your fury with HyperX Fury Memory. And by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Okay, we're live. Hello. Welcome back, everybody. Sorry,
I kind of cut off there for a second.
I didn't hear the water. It's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah.
We're back. Battle of Texas still underway. The Fuel and the Outlaws, with the Fuel taking Route 66, means they're still in the series. It would, like you said, Hex, before the break, it wouldn't be a Battle of Texas if it was just a clean 3-0 sweep. So we're going to go on to Eichenwalde.
No one likes a 3-0. I don't like any zeros in there, too. And these teams are so evenly matched. Like, maybe Control was very... I mean, the Control went to 3 as well. Like, all these maps so far have been super, super close. That last fight felt like Houston should have had that with a better EMP. But Dallas got through there with a better sustain. And now we will be heading to Eichenwalde, which I think you can see a lot of Sombra on. But with Dallas wanting to run Echo, it's a good Echo map, too.
Yeah, I don't mind the Echo pick whatsoever, to be honest. I mean, especially Doha, who's... but what has he changed? I want to try what he's changed into today, I believe. Not only a Genji, but we've seen a Moira, and we've seen, I believe, a tank as well at some point. But, yeah, Doha's
we've definitely seen a D.Va, yeah.
D.Va as well, yeah. So he's played literally everything on the Echo using that ult. So I want to see them stick on it, like 100%. I think Only God switching in is a good plan as well. His aim is absurd. It kind of always has been. Only God is a very experienced player, just not only just in general, but he has been around the scene for obviously a long, long time. Plays all the way back in Apex Season 1 over in Korea, so it was about time he made it to the league, and seeing him on the Fuel roster slotted in perfectly well. If you just have a ridiculous hit-scan player, you're going to be able to slot them in somewhere, and Only God, perfect mix and match too. He can also play Genji at an extremely high level as well.
Yeah, I think you keep Only God in for Ashe, probably. It seems like Decay is grinding their Widow and their Tracer. Ashe seems similar to those, but feels very different, so you just let someone purely practice on the Ashe, and then you have the dynamite timings a little better, and everything just feels a little bit closer. So the Ashe looked really good. Some of the shots he hit on Sombra are super important. If you can hit a headshot on Sombra and not allow Sombra to translocate and just keep alive and be annoying, that's super important. I'd imagine we're going to see some Ashe here. The reason I think about Echo is because when I think about Eichenwalde, I think about Pharah. And Echo is kind of a better Pharah in a lot of instances, so why wouldn't you run Echo? We shall see what these teams want to roll out here. Again, Houston Outlaws are up 2-1 against the Dallas Fuel, who pulled it off on Route 66. And yeah, Eichenwalde, maybe dive, maybe double shields. We'll see. We're still trying to figure out the meta.
Man, it did really feel like that when Echo was announced and released it. So, wow, she's just better Pharah. Woo!
Well,
it really
it was so many things. Yeah. It was better Pharah, better Genji, better Tracer. Everyone just thought she was a better version of the hero they mained.
It was quite funny. Although not quite slotting into almost every comp, it's been interesting to see how Echo is done in recent times.
Yeah. Well, I just thought maybe on the defense here, because Eichenwalde is such a strange map where defensive Pharah was the flavor of the day because of that Spire. You have so much mobility, so much defense, but then also you kind of need to run maybe a Mercy with it, and you don't really want to run a Mercy. So as it stands, we've got pure dive on the defense from the Houston Outlaws. Of course, a Brigitte slotted in what would be the other dive slot, and Dallas going to play a Sombra McCree of all things.
Yeah, short range, so the Ashe still gets a lot of value, but the Kree is definitely there, obviously, to stop Dante and Blase just diving in for free. Well, that kind of blows if you're the Fuel. Both Paintbrush and Doha end up dying first, so...
Yeah, where was Doha there?
That does kind of suck. I felt like his Translocator must have got killed for him not to recall at that point, but the best thing about Outlaws comp here is that Dante is able to push in to the back line of the Fuel as soon and chase down things like Sombra as soon as the Fuel push past this archway. So
yeah,
I think that's pretty good for them. And actually, the Fuel have prompted a switch. So Gamsu is on ball, and we do have a note on the Sigma now.
Stylistically, Houston is playing the most aggressive I've seen them play. Not even maybe aggressive, decisive. It seems like Houston is making calls and they're going after it more than I've seen them play in the last couple of years. When they have an edge in a fight, they go after it rather than just sitting back and waiting for the fight to come with them, which is not the Houston that we've seen over the last couple of years. Aggressive teams win Overwatch games, and Houston seems to have that switch right now.
Oh, the pulse bomb. Oh, at the bottom of the shield. Paintbrush luckily hit that right click just in time in order to avoid the pulse. Dante gets punished for it too. Dallas Fuel have made their way to the point and actually have secured a tick already. Outlaws are going to be able to re-engage with this rally now as Doha ends up having to dash out, and now everybody on the retreat as the Dallas Fuel knows as soon as that rally is being thrown in, they can't win it. At least without Doha not having the reset on the dash there, so he can't even play aggressive.
Well, Dallas so far away from their own rally. They will have Blade and Pulse Bomb coming up soon, and you might want to wait on Blade, well, especially now. You don't want to go, and Gamsu can disrupt. Blade in Flux would be really nice for them, but right now Dallas just has to back out.
They're even using Transcendence. The Blade from Doha is still going to find Repel. That is a questionable Blade. I don't know about
ambitious.
that one.
An
ambitious
Dragon Blade.
That's an ambitious Dragon Blade. I mean, we've seen Doha clutch things out before, but oh, that boop from Meko. Goodbye, only got a paintbrush.
Meko's quietly having a very, very good set on D.Va here. I mean, his peel has been there. That's, of course, going to be flashy, and it's going to show up, but he's been displacing people all day who try to get to his backline. And when you have a Zenyatta in your backline, like, that is a fragile backline. Zen's good, and he can fight for himself. But Zen's also much happier when he's sitting near a D.Va who can make sure that that damage never gets to him.
Oh yeah, I love D.Va's pocketing me when I'm Zen. Feels good. Just give me damage boost and EMP, please. Not EMP, nano boost. There's a kill onto Dante already. Transcendence being used. Blase has pulled the blade. It will disappear though before this Transcendence runs out. Plus Crimzo has 300 HP with armor too. He's a tank. He's a warlord. And that'll be the point flipping over now to the fuel so they can get the payload eventually moving.
Doesn't matter how many times I see it. Zen with 300 HP doesn't feel right.
It's like Jonak. Do you remember? I've got the screenshot somewhere on my PC upstairs, but 425 HP Jonak on Zen. Like, what is more scary in this game than that? Seriously.
Nothing.
Exactly. Oh, only got to be careful. Nah, you didn't.
Alright, well, pure dive now for Dallas as they move on to second point. Really nice to allow Tracer to get up there, and you also have some verticality. Interesting, like, that they're not going to run a D.Va here. You'd think D.Va would be good on the dive, but they just drop mines up top.
Yeah. Note does end up getting hacked. Gamsu's going to have a tough time against the Sombra, but he's able to get out of there rather fast to actually avoid Dante. Paintbrush ends up dying to Hydration's Primal Rage, though. It's still an awkward situation for Dallas Fuel's already fighting. They're going to have to run into this EMP. Doha has the blade, is able to kill off Jexay just in time, and with the targets being isolated, it's so easy for Onigod and Doha to finish them off. It's actually just getting them isolated is the problem, but that's where Gamsu comes in with his mind and forcing everybody off from the high ground. You could see that's why Jexay was on low, even with his rally going off, which of course he needs to be near his team, but because of the mines, he had to get out of there ASAP to avoid dying instantly.
Well, Ball is the best displacement tank to isolate and allow that dive to happen. You want to be here, well, I'm going to put you there. And that's what Ball does really well, but that's a nice opening kill from Dante. He's got EMP ready should he need it, but Dante saves his EMP.
Yeah,
doesn't like to use it.
Yeah, Doha's going to go in with the blade yet again, but it's going to get Transcendence. Onigod does find one with the Pulse, but it's Jexay of all people, which is probably the better support to take out with the Pulse Bomb, to be fair, if you're not really worried about the Transcendence and building up with the Transcendence. And now the Perma-Peel. Yeah, there you go. Perma-Peel for the Zen. Do it. And the 3 people jump on the Tracer. Onigod instantly dies. And now a minute and 30 remains for the fuel. They push the car a fair distance, but now they're running into EMP Blade.
The EMP is going to be super important here, too, because Crimzo and Paintbrush both have Rally and Transcendence up, and there's almost no way you're going to be able to negate both of those with EMP. So Crimzo probably just going to hide out. They're going to initiate with the Rally.
Yeah, they're actually splitting up too. There's a lot of people on the high ground, plus 2 people on the payload as well, so an EMP won't get a full 6-man, which is going to be what's important. Rally early on, so now is the time for engagement for the Dallas Fuel. However, Crimzo still wants to hide away to make sure he doesn't get instantly killed.
Flux hits
with the EMP
no
and
one.
the blade. Flux hits nobody, and the mines are going to stop a lot of people from moving through that door, and Gamsu, yeah, pushes Jexay straight through the mines and off the map. Transcendence to the point, as Meko now using the self-destruct to clear some more space out. EMP and blade is available as Crimzo uses that Transcendence to push his team forward, but Houston Outlaws refusing to click the Q key.
Yeah.
Or just, I wouldn't say refusing, actually. I take that back. It's more so that Dallas Fuel are able to get these really early pickoffs that the Outlaws feel like it's not even worth it to invest and want to go to the next fight. But next fight onto next fight into next fight means the Dallas Fuel almost get a free point there, it feels.
Right, and like Crimzo makes the switch off of the Zenyatta too, because that's Houston's window, is knowing that the Zen is out. A beautiful pulse bomb too. Jexay out of it, holding Rally.
pretty bad. Oh, and the hydration's on the bridge. Boop. Oh, he didn't quite manage to juggle the... Oh, well, that's just a roll in there. Oh, he's still juggling him. Oh, how? No, it's been surfing. He's been playing a lot of Doomfist, playing a lot of the surf Doomfist maps. No, manages to stay alive somehow, and now they've switched over from the Winston to the Rhine.
Well, we'll see. Houston's got the support ultimates that they need to be able to push. I'd like to see Houston get aggressive here. They're kind of on the back foot. They're getting pushed back on roller skates here. There's the opening rally.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They have the Transcendence as well, waiting for that blade from Doha, who's sitting all the way at the back. Got to be careful of Blase and Dante, however. You can get insta-killed, and Blase's got a lot of walls to push people into. Flux up in the skies. Transcendence still not used, and Dante ends up going down. Late Transcendence from Repel, and now Doha, all he needs to do is wait. They've already killed Dante, but Onigod ends up falling. And now it's all on to Doha. He is going to get discorded as well. Can he finish up the kills? It might just be Note doing all the damage, or at least to help Doha follow this up. He's now in the 1v1 with sub 10 HP as Dante eventually comes back onto the point and finishes him up. A damage orb will finish off Meko, but the spawn advantage from the Outlaws should be good enough for them to save the aggression from the Outlaws for long enough. Hydration back on the ball and a slam into the ground, forcing the cooldowns away from the fuel. Crimzo and Paintbrush are in trouble as they are now trying to retreat. With time to spare, they may be able to get back to the point in time, but there's a lot of ults waiting for them.
Well, Houston wanted to go in and try to clean up the staggers, but they realized there's 10 seconds left and dying would be absolutely brutal. Dallas has Pulse Bomb and Shatter. That's it. But Houston, I know Dante doesn't love to use EMP, but now be the time.
Self-destruct. He's got to use it at some point. He might not need to. No's going to get hacked. He's had this EMP for ages. Might not even need to use it even here. Blase gets the kill, yes, but they're forcing them all the way back. It's a very much a last-minute EMP. He's very satisfied in just hacking people. Now's the time to use it if he's ever going to. A hacked out Coalescence would have been good, but actually Crimzo was able to stay away from it, just out of range. And now the beat to re-engage for the fuel. They're still making this work somehow, and only got building up to a Pulse Bomb as well. A perfect tag onto Meko. The stick on the back for Onigod 2. The damage has been done. The late EMP wasn't worth it for the Outlaws as the fuel managed to cap.
I mean, at some point, though, Dante is just being greedy, right? Like, a lot of these EMPs have come off a little late, and we praised him for being so good at being economical with just the hacks and getting kills and getting fight wins there. But when you hear the music getting tense, it might be time to slam Q. Missing the Coalescence there, absolutely brutal as well, because that's what that EMP is designed for. That's why he used it right then, right there, to try to get the Coalescence done. Didn't hit. And as good as Dante is on the Sombra, that was not his best moment on Sombra play there. Like, you just gotta close out a map when you get a chance. What are you holding it for? Next round?
I guess. I guess. Oh, there it is. That's my answer.
That's the perfect response.
Was that Ganymede flying under the bridge?
It looked like a very similar bird to Bastion.
Okay. I'm not super hot on the lore. Does every Bastion, because there's like dead Bastions around here, does every Bastion have a Ganymede? Or like,
well,
maybe
that just means
something else?
Oh, that just means there's like orphaned Ganymedes.
Like, well, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I thought that bird might have been. I was going to get really sad.
I don't know. I'm not a... What's the study of birds? Ornithology? I'm not an ornithologist. Couldn't tell you.
I was about to say the Aviator, but that is... I'm pretty sure that's a superhero from the 70s, and I would have been horrendously wrong.
Pretty sure that's how
I was thinking of aviary.
Well, yeah, there's that's where they keep birds in like a zoo.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we're not in a zoo. Well, this house is actually a zoo, basically. But we're not casting a zoo. Onigod is back on the Kree. Doha as well, back on the Sombra. Managed to get the hack onto Blase, but look at this extremely aggressive push from the Outlaws. You'd think Dallas Fuel want to hold a little bit closer, but with a double shield, but they're more than happy, if it seems, to allow Blase to come in. Nice kill onto Onigod, but they do trade them their main tank for it. Hydration going down. It's up to Blase to try and find a semblance in this fight, and he does just that, as Doha also ends up falling, but no, it's refusing to go down just yet. As many kills as Blase can get, if they don't take down a tank and a shield, his life is infinitely harder, as well as Dante's, in fact.
Well, Outlaws have lost both of their tanks, so space is going to be hard to come by here. They will get Hydration back to the mix. Meko should be joined shortly. And they've got everyone low.
They do indeed. The Coalescence is going to heal everybody up, and Onigod finding 2 kills of his own. Hydration once again bullied out by Doha. Nice little orb to finish off Jexay. That should be a reset for the Outlaws. They have Blade. Nowhere near the EMP, though. Only 56% away.
33% of permanent progress, though. Houston will piecemeal this on the way in. Pretty even as far as barriers go. There is Blade up, but Dallas has both of their damage ultimates up. By virtue of winning the fight, Dallas is going to have an enormous ultimate advantage. Dante is still a mile away.
Oh, they spotted Doha a mile away. There's the deflect instantly. He does kill Repel, though. So actually not the worst trade in the world.
Not terrible.
As a healer is now down. However, Jexay can still rely on this beat. There you go. Sends it out. 4-man hit. Blase, unfortunately, not quite there, but still manages to stay alive somehow. 2 ticks for Outlaws as well. Even if they lose the fight, they've still made progress on the point. Jexay has to get out of it ASAP. That was their last-ditch attempt, using that beat to try and salvage the fight after Repel did go down to that Deadeye.
It's just Guangzhou getting the better of Hydration there. One is a seasoned main tank, the other is picking up heroes as they go along. Hydration's been fine on the Rhine today, but that was a main tank difference kind of fight right there. As Guangzhou gets the Shatter in early on. Houston is going to be able to open this up. I would love to see a good EMP self-destruct combo. It's been so strange to see a lot of these ultimates go in and not be comboed. And now you just go back to the drawing board.
Goodbye. Bye-bye. Everybody go back to spawn now.
You can't win this
Bye-bye.
fight.
All the way back to Lumbridge. There we go. So,
they got
1 minute
EMP out and they didn't get
now.
full wiped. Like, they only lost 1 to an EMP, so now Houston's in a decent spot with a little over a minute left. You can EMP Blade, EMP Self-Destruct, EMP Coalescence. There's so many things, but Dante needs to rebind his Q button to use all.
Oh, now's the perfect time! There it is! He doesn't get a Coalescence, though, but he got both tanks. They have to kill Guangzhou right here, right now, and this could be it. Mecha with the perfect positioning too, isolating Onigod. He managed to get the self-destruct out, and Dante and Repel are picking up kills, but it's 1 for 1 for 1 for 1 for 1 for 1. Everybody's just trading up, but No somehow still alive. Of course No's still alive. He has 4 kills. He is solo carrying this fight. He's earned himself a Flux as well, and the Outlaws now have 40 seconds remaining. Waves goodbye to the offense of the Outlaws, and they still have not only Flux, they've got to have EMP for this fight, and the combo the Outlaws needed just goes to waste, it feels.
It's Flux Deadeye is a great one. The Sky Noon kind of combo, EMP in there as well. I mean, I don't have enough praise for how well Notes played the last month.
Super early. Can Repel get finished up? He's the only one that got lifted up. He cannot, but everybody from Outlaws is going low. Crimson goes down, and Onigod is isolated now. The perfect roll of the ball from well, somebody. Maybe the Boop, in fact. They eventually end up getting it. Onigod got launched into the center of the point, not where he wanted to be whatsoever. I believe that was Jexay with the Boop. That was a scrappy end to that fight, and it looked very winnable. It feels like whoever has the biggest ult combo ends up actually losing the fight at this point.
Yeah.
It's been a very interesting map, that is for sure.
Yeah, it seems like the responsive EMPs are the ones that win it. Even when a team's mostly hacked, if they get the couple of early kills and there's no damage on the field, it seems like teams, even EMP'd, are winning fights. Al's getting in, though.
Yeah, diving down from the turret. That Coalescence is going to help kill off Guangzhou. The beat's going to come through as well. So both support ults used in this fight. I love the...
well, yeah, that's obviously going to be Dallas's advantage for the next fight. However, if you want to really strip off shields and stop a Coalescence, EMP is really good at doing just that. Dante's got it. He's holding on to it, and they're very aggressive on the forward position. This is where you want to be as a Doomfist, and getting punched in the back of the head is not awesome coming out of spawn.
Not awesome. X2020. Not awesome.
Oof, it's not awesome.
Yeah, Mecha gets hacked there. Yeah, you're instantly finished off. You can't really... Well, sometimes you can, but it is very dangerous to hold a very forward position if you're against a Sombra, because the Sombra, being invisible, can spot you out very easily, and as soon as you get hacked, there's no way you can be able to get back to the rest of your team because all your mobility tools have gone.
Houston's still getting a little bit of progress here, but only a minute left. Dallas in a really good spot to respond to an EMP with both Barrier and Coalescence. Very unlikely they get knocked off of both of those.
Oh, that self-destruct with the EMP. There is no way you're escaping that one. They were all caught in that very small room. That was torture if you were the Dallas Fuel there. They still haven't a chance to actually engage on this fight. It does take a fair while for this... the battering ram to eventually reach the doors, and Doha does have the EMP with the Shadow, with the Flux too. Looks very winnable if they can get back on this payload. And actually, Doha's behind. He's just going to go in. Just do it.
Let's go for
just
it.
do it. Up and over. There we go. 4-man hack. Coalescence still doing a lot of work, though, as the shadow hits the ground. That beat is going to make sure Dallas Fuel get back to the point in time. But Beko pushes Gamsu away from the rest of his team and ends up going down.
Knocked.
It is now up to Blase to actually salvage this fight. He's going to eventually fall to Paintbrush of all people. And now OT is here with one person on the payload. It's going to be Hydration. Paintbrush is going to boop everybody off when they come over that bridge. This looks as good as done for the Outlaws. The Dallas Fuel, they're taking it all the way to 5 games as they take Eichenwalde.
Salty run back for the Dallas Fuel, and Paintbrush has come alive. Nice barriers towards the end for that team. And even though they're playing on a dangerous game when you have to play on the bridge, nice stuff from the Dallas Fuel. Play of the game, it's not going to be on your screen, it's going to be notes. And we've talked about how his Sigma has gotten better and better. I went into Boston there, which is Note's former team. Beta and Beta. He used to be like this diva player who was a god-tier diva, and we all knew that, and his Sigma has gotten so good throughout the year. These teams, I mean, look, you see the score. They're extremely evenly matched. Fights don't make any sense. A team that should win a fight is losing the fights. It's been barriers, it's been EMPs, and let's just go to control and see who ends up winning this one for good, for once and for all.
The Battle of Texas is going all the way to 5 maps. We're going to jump on onto control after this break.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back to the Battle of Texas. We're heading into our final map of the series. Can the Fuel complete the reverse sweep and continue their win streak against the Outlaws? Well, now's the time to find out. We're heading to Nepal.
I mean, what a great match. Like, I'm just thinking of all, like, so much portion of the population of our Overwatch League fans are going to be so upset, and so many are going to be so happy. This has lived up to the billing. The first 2 maps, it felt like Houston was just going to walk away with it. I thought we were going 3-0 territory, but Dallas, through just pretty much grit and determination and individual plays, like notably by some of their tank plays, have been amazing. They've just found a way to bring this back against what always looked like Houston had the fights, they had ult advantages, this, and Dallas just gets a giant performance, maybe out of notes, maybe Paintbrush hits a perfect ult. Like, they found the way to put it back together, and now we're just going to head back to Control. Reminder, like, what is it, like 2 hours ago now? When we started on Control, it went to map 3, so we're going to head to Nepal, where anything can happen. 2-2, Control for all the marbles here at Battle of Texas.
With that note as well, we're actually seeing Decay come back in the roster. We're not seeing Only God for the 3rd map in a row. Remember, they did lose the first 2 maps Decay was in. So maybe they want him for the flexibility. Yeah. I mean, hey, it's true, right? Like, you're now subbing Only God out after winning 2 maps in a row, but clearly they want Decay for the variety of play, potentially. Nepal's a very interesting one. Potentially they rate Decay's abilities to play Nepal. Nepal's a very interesting map. We talk about it a lot, but a place like Village, you can run very specific, like May comps with the Reaper, so maybe they're trying to do something like that.
But
I want to see how Decay... oh, yeah, because May's not... Yes, I actually completely forgot about that. Hero pools,
May's out of the pool.
It's like we haven't seen Hero pools in like a year, but yeah, May is out of the pool, so you actually can't play that anymore, of course.
Yeah, it's super interesting. You're right. Like, I was hoping you were going to give me an answer of like, oh, of course you bring Decay in for, but Onigod's played so well, even on the Tracer, which you'd think maybe Decay comes in to play the Tracer. I don't know. Onigod put together a couple of really good maps, really good performances, but it also comes down to coaching and management of like, well, it doesn't matter. Decay plays control maps, right? Like, we scrim with Decay on control maps. He always plays control maps. You don't ride the hot hand. Yes. So, I mean, like, you have a strategy going in, and some teams deviate from the strategy. So, like, it doesn't matter, like, you know, Onigod's hitting every shot at Ash. We're not taking him out. Or you just go back in and you want to run this. Decay is a very capable Genji as well. If Doha wants to run something different, you know, maybe Doha goes back onto the Echo. We'll see. We're still figuring out the meta. It's been super interesting thus far. It's been a lot of dive, a lot of Genji still, even without an Ana. So we'll see what Doha ends up switching to. You know what? It's very possible one of these teams stays on the Symmetra. You don't run it on Sanctum, but we've seen Symmetra on both these maps, but it's going to be a Sombra and a Genji change overall.
Yeah, so Sombra versus Tracer there, and then the Genjis facing off against each other. Dallas Fuel, by the way, have never won. Never completed the reverse sweep, so this will be a big achievement for them, and continuing, like I said, their killing spree of the Outlaws. Outlaws haven't won against the Dallas Fuel in over 2 years at this point, so it'll be a big win for them and their fan base as well. Perfect kill on Jexay. Oh, nice double dash there from Decay. Yeah. Repel and Jexay dead. That's the rest of the Outlaws. Yeah, they're routed as well.
I mean, it must be nice to be Dallas and have 3 extremely competent Genji players, and then you can just put whoever else on whatever else. It doesn't matter. Like, I think so many people have already played Genji for this Dallas Fuel squad today, but he gets in there, and Houston running the pure dive is going to mean that everyone has, like, a little bit less health. They find the absolute window. Dallas, you know, running a Reinhardt and a Sigma, you're going to be able to control space, and now that they have control of the point, it's going to be difficult for Houston to bring this one back. I mean, what's the ideal dive target right now for Houston? You want to get to the back and maybe get Crimzo or Paintbrush, but with all the tank PO, that's going to be tough.
I think the idea is to just force out a cooldown from Paintbrush or Crimzo and then have Dante just go around with the sticky bomb, or just do the opposite way around as well. There's the Blade, there's 1 kill. Thank you very much. This should be a team fight cleanup now. Oh, that was a disgusting ghost dash. I think that was, at least. That looked rather fancy from Decay. Like you said, there's a lot of good Genji players on Dallas. Decay being one of them, and Doha being one of them, and oh yeah, don't forget, Only God being one of them too. So it's very cool to see. Every single one of them being able to play that. EMP for the next fight as well. This is looking all Dallas right now. However, Pulse Bomb and Blade available from Outlaws too.
Well, Dallas ended up burning Coalescence during that fight, and it's one of those ultimates that you don't really think about burning. Like, if it can help you win a fight, you just always use Coalescence. Decay gets discorded early on, but Dallas, with this superior tank lineup as far as controlling space goes with double shields, is just going to wait. That's great. That's a perfect pick.
Ooh, that's a go again from the Fuel, I think. Yep, Dante kills Crimzo. Blase as well. Oh, my word. That was a disgusting look around too. I love seeing Genji, man. I love being first-person Genji when they're just killing people with Blade. It looks also clean. 78%, sorry, for the Fuel. Still with a Shatter and a Flux at their disposal.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas threw in the EMP after that, and I think once Note goes down, you just wait on it, because at 78%, you're still a single fight away. You only really need the Flux, and Flux Shatter can be a nice combination, so Dallas trying to set up for that and try to win it. Hydration hacked early.
Yeah, he's going to die here. Yeah, that's a perfect Flux too. Hydration couldn't get in the Transcendence Kids, was getting pushed away, and a perfect pin as well from Guangzhou. Are you kidding me? That was a perfect set of events from the Fuel. Hydration got hacked, the Transcendence got Flux, so the Trans couldn't actually reach the Winston, isolating every single target perfectly, and then a charge as well on the rallying Brig. What more could you ask for from the Fuel?
Beautiful play. They actually used all the ultimates together, and every single one of them executed it perfectly. Now Houston up against the wall. No support ultimates, nothing. They have delay in Primal Rage, but that's it. But Dallas going to be able to coalescence.
There's the Cold, there's the Blade to help it. Decay struggling to find a target. He's found one in the end. He's going to be able to chase down Repel. Third slash, didn't quite get it, but Doha was there to clean it on up. He's got EMP as well, mind you. He's going to be able to Blaze's Blade to find anything. He's got sub 100 HP though. It's not going to look pretty. Crimzo's going to take him out with a right-click suck, and Fuel is sitting on the point now with an EMP. Even the hack onto Jexay face plants the wall. He can't quite get back up. Oh, it is so sad if you're Jexay. The Fuel now are one stage away from being able to complete the reverse sweep over the Outlaws, and the first time in history they're able to secure the reverse sweep as well.
I mean, that's just the saddest thing as a Lucio. You're like, I'm going to get there, I have wall ride. It gets hacked, it can't even get up the wall. Not even using EMP on it, too. But Dallas, I mean, it's just better coordination than we've seen from them all day, really. I mean, using the ultimates in tandem, that's what this game essentially, like, evolves around, is does this lead into this, and Dallas finally put it together there rather than having individual plays that don't lead to anything and there's no follow-up. They nailed it. Let's see if Dante moves over. Dante on the Reaper. Okay. Sanctum is such an interesting map. It seems like Houston wants to ground and pound this on the stairs.
Hey, shooty gun.
Shooty shotguns.
Shooty shotguns. Yep. Decay, he's gonna have a bit of an issue here with Decay. He can't. The Wraith form is going to have to be used so precisely, because if you get flashed as the Reaper, you're going to get instantly killed.
Dallas
going
after
hacked
it
as well, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, like you actually mentioned it previously, which is funny. The fact that if Dante gets hacked actually doesn't mean a whole bunch.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
You can still shoot people. You can focus him down, but with all the shields and the healing, it's very rare that he's actually going to go down. And that was a perfect find of the Translocator, but unfortunately, Decay was there to actually finish that one up. They used the Coal as well for pressure. And even a counter Coal. Decay kills two as Hydration went way too deep and actually out LOS'd his Coalescence too from his Moira.
Well, all during this time, Houston has taken control of the point.
Goodbye. There we go. Repel ends up falling. Yeah, but yeah, Outlaws did manage to get, what, 25% and building up here. If Garbasu goes down, it will be tragic, but no, it's not going to happen. And there is Hydration. So not the worst start in the world for the Outlaws. They did try and force Fuel to use ults there, but to little to no avail. They still have Deadeye, Fluxes coming up, Shatter, EMP. Like, they're looking good for this next fight.
And Decay on the McCree really shuts down Reaper. A lot of people don't think of it as such a hard counter, but it's not just about the flashbang. Reaper doesn't like to fight at not full health. So if you can just plink him with a headshot across the map, or just kill the Lucio, also fine. Reaper is going to force Wraith form really easy if you just hit a single headshot. It's not always about the flashbang. McCree makes Reaper's job really, really difficult. Dallas banking up ultimates, everybody 75 and above. Houston gonna try to get in here. I don't see it. I don't see the win condition on this one for Houston. You might just have to make Dallas burn.
There you go. Lighting up right now. EMP2. Oh! I think Doha was trying to bait out something there. He tossed the trying to get up on the high and just fell back down to the earth. But the rest of
got that point, but
the rest of Outlaws are actually already dead by the time he actually landed back down. Oh, Blase! Disgusting. Decay and Crimzo end up falling, and they do manage to actually cap and force Fuel to actually recap there, so stalling for some additional time, but Blase being staggered out here is actually kind of, it kind of doesn't actually mean a whole bunch. Like, it ended up just you gain the percentage that you lost from actually staggering Blase. Flux on the point. They're going to try the same thing again. Outlaws jumping onto the point. However, the Hydration, look at that. Bit of a YOLO charge onto the stairs to try and pin somebody. and ends up going down to just a Flux from Note. So Dallas Fuel now in a 30% away from actually securing the map and the series, Hex.
I mean, I don't blame Hydration. He's been forced onto this role, but at some point in time, he's got to stop dying super early in these fights. And it's not just been on the Reinhardt, it's been on the Winston, and some of the maps they've lost, it's been just too aggressive.
Look at, oh, the Rock! The Rock stopped the EMP! Can they actually make anything of this now? Blaze's just kind of baited them in with a Blade. He manages to kill one, and Mecho's going to be able to finish out with 2 as well! Hydration with the Shadows, not going to be able to use it really at all here. There's 2 people in front of you. Outlaws all the meanwhile, 2 while that was going on, mind you, was capping the point!
Yeah, they back-capped it as well. All right, so Dallas here, they have Deadeye, but does Deadeye even really count as an ultimate? Generally, yeah, we've seen more Deadeyes kill the McCree casting it than we have seen him kill other people in the series so far today. But Dallas will also have the Coalescence, can get you some space, and then Guangzhou can get a Shatter. Deadeye is really good when people are lying on the ground, so we'll see if the main tank difference comes to bear. Zoning Deadeye, that's really all it's good for right now. And
yeah, I mean, they got a lot of percent on the point as well. Oh, Hydration gets hacked. Perfect time for Guangzhou to swing, and he's almost got the Shatter as well. The Coalescence is keeping Hydration alive as the hack eventually wears off. He's pushing into the front line of the Dallas Fuel
Flux.
and has the Shatter. The Fluxes are high in the sky and kills off Guangzhou in the end. And now Hydration, all he needs to do is hold shield with Mecho. And the DPS are going to be able to finish them up. The Houston Outlaws find the recap 2, and with now only 5% remaining, the Fuel need to get back in touch.
Yeah, what do you think about Village? You know, just looking forward. It does seem like we're headed that way. Doha gets knocked off. Unless this is the best Flux in the world, it's going to be tough for Dallas to bring it back.
Shatter hits the shield. Yeah, there's no way now. Crimson gets booped off. The EMP is a victory firework on Sanctum. We are going all the way in this battle for Texas. It's going to end on Village.
Well, we'll see, because with May out of the lineup, like, Village is still one of the maps, or one of the points of the map that you expect to see May. And it's always been that way. May Reaper, really good on Village. Now the question is, what do teams run? Doomfist can be really good here as well, considering a lot of the fighting does happen on the point directly. We'll see what Doha's got here.
The Rock.
He gets super far in. That's the end.
Boom!
Oh, it gets shut down, yeah.
To the feet, yeah. Got shut down, and then Blase was like, well, I just pulled Blade. Like, you don't have EMP, so... when you go that far into an enemy team, you expect that EMP to land, so you're playing way more aggressively. And when it gets cancelled, well, Blase just sits there with Blade, because they've already overextended. It's crazy. So this is the composition we're seeing, Hex. A Blase Doomfist and a Dante Genji? Okay, I really like this from the Houston Outlaws. However, Hydration going down first, not a good start.
Yeah, it's Dallas who's going to be running the Reaper now, and Doha gets the cleanup as he's anticipating the Rein-Zarya combination, and Reaper really good against Zarya. Even when she's got shield up, you feel fine just WM1ing into her, cracking the shields, and taking that down. And Dallas now with first control of the point, and they're running double shield. It's exactly the world you want to be living in. What did Dante do to get 83%?
Yes, I was about to say. I don't know, doing damage. There's the Coalescence star. Yeah, Dante's out of there real fast. Hydration and Mecho are dead. It's one fight, one ult wonder, really. I mean, now you're just having to back off. Yeah, he's already got Blade. That's ridiculous. So after one fight, he had 75%. Like, it's absurd. Absurd.
Well, it did force Dallas into using Coalescence early, so now Houston's got an opening if they want to use their own support ultimate to come in. Coalescence into Blade, if you can track it perfectly, is pretty decent as an open. Dallas, not much to work with on their own, but nearing ultimates, especially nearing that Earth Shatter, you can shut down the Blade.
There's the Blade. He's chasing the Lucio. Oh, can't quite get to him. Oh, the perfect boop as well. He doesn't get anybody with that fight apart from a little bit of damage. Crimson gets finished off as he comes out of the fade and gets uppercutted by Blase. But I'm not sure they're going to be able to finish this one off, to be honest with you. There's a man advantage for Fuel on the point. They attempt to cap, but the Outlaws are going to have to go for the big reset again.
Yeah, all the way back to the drawing board as it is 55 and counting up now for the Dallas Fuel. Dallas Fuel has every ultimate that you would want defensively. A defensive Death Blossom would be great. A Blade to initiate should they so choose.
Oh.
Paintbrush going down early sucks though. They had barrier.
Dead. Every hit and Q at once. Dante, without Blade, managed to kill both supports with the help of the beat. He kills another one. These Outlaws managed to get onto the point just in time, and hey, he's looking very reminiscent of Sanctum. We're getting the flip Almost 8% again. Yeah, 78% again fill the fuel. So
just almost like the
wow.
identical number.
This is
Flux and
ridiculous.
Barrier on the way up. Dallas used both of their damage ultimates there, and they got absolutely nothing out of it. But if I'm going to burn damage ultimates, I want support and tank ultimates. Dallas is going to have nearly all 4 up. No Barrier for the Houston Outlaws to defend. It might be time for Hydration to hit the best shatter he's ever had.
Flux on the high ground's good. Jexay already goes down. The Coalescence is going to supplement the healing as Blase goes up into the sky with a Meteor Strike, but Dante and Hydration have already done the damage that was required. Deke and Gamsu end up going down, and everybody falls in their black as that shatter hits the floor. Oh boy, that was a lot of ults, but Dante in the midst of that, off the back of everybody getting shattered, earned himself a blade, and Meko's got himself a Flux as well.
Yeah, Houston comes out of that in a way better position, and that's the kind of shatter that you need for Hydration. I think he's starting to learn about Ryan that you don't need to hit 5 men on the shatter. It looks flashy, but it doesn't matter. You get that one kill that you absolutely need. He gets in there, and now no cut out of no man's
Flux.
land.
Dante does get shattered when he's blading, but it doesn't matter. Or at least it doesn't look like it matters. No, Blase's cleaning everybody up. Dallas Fuel once again. They throw everything in, it feels. Gamsu got the perfect shatter too. They just couldn't finish it up with any meaningful damage.
Yeah, Houston is going to be in the lead here when the next fight happens, and at 78 to about 78 when this brawl commences. It is last fight territory. No check marks on the board just yet. Decay nearing it. Can Decay live up to the hype of being the most touted rookie player of 2019?
The hack is perfect. Blase ends up going down to Note with the help of Decay on the side, and he has the blade as well. The counter pin on Hydration's good. Decay might not even need blade. Note does fall, but Decay's still sitting there without needing to do really anything. Crimso's also got the Coalescence. 99% for the Outlaws, and Fuel find the flip.
Okay, un más tiempo. One more time, and that's it. This is it. This is the Battle of Texas right here, 100%. Dallas up in the ultimate abilities. They've got Flux. They've got Coalescence. Outlaws have to have a sustained fight. You open with Cole here and hope that your tanks get there, and hope that you get a Sound Barrier off the back.
Oh, the Flux is good. The Cole as well. Look at him just ripping through the health bars. Blase still has his ult as well. No, ends up going down too. Blase sitting on the point with his ult, but they don't touch! Are you serious? The Dallas Fuel managed to push the Outlaws away. And for the first time in Overwatch League history, Dallas Fuel have managed to complete a reverse sweep and win the battle for Texas.
It ends not with a bang, but with a whimper. Oh, that's brutal to not touch the point. It seemed like everyone was going for it. We're really, really close to getting there. But that is going to be that. These teams very, very evenly matched. Houston and Dallas. The Battle of Texas lived up to all of the hype. That could have gone either way. I think even if you're a fan of the losing squad, you're pretty happy with how it went. We've seen flashes of brilliance from several of these players, but that's just how it be sometimes. Sometimes you just can't get to that point. Ah, it's tough.
That is a tough loss for the Outlaws, and I mean, I'll remind you that the Outlaws haven't won against the Dallas Fuel since 2018, in June of 2018 too, so it's been over 2 years since they've been able to win against the Outlaws, and the crown now belongs to the Fuel and will stay that way, it feels like. 4-1 historically for them too against the Outlaws. As heartbreaking as it was, losing a map after you get match point is truly a kick in the teeth, but it being a reverse sweep going all the way on control too. Oh man, I do feel for the Outlaws, but congratulations to Dallas Fuel subbing out Only God 2, who ended up winning the 2 matches, leading to their reverse sweep and then getting Decay back in as well. What a fantastic performance.
Well, now Dallas has the better record. I think Dallas now at 6-8 on the year. Houston will fall to 6-12. Obviously, the win ratio in favor of the Dallas Fuel. You couldn't have asked for more, but Houston, this one extra hurts because it really felt the first couple of matches like 2-0. Houston was in control. They looked like they had a better grasp of the meta. The Sombra play was in favor of Houston. And then Dallas, even the 2 matches they won before the 5th map, didn't feel like they were dominant or anything. It's just like they squeaked it out. They grubbed it up. They got down and dirty with it. And Dallas able to pull that one out at the very end. And then for it to be, 99 to 80. C9s. That might be an actual C9. I didn't see the replay. We don't have it queued up. What I do know for sure, though, is a guy we've been talking up. Notes, player of the match.
Yeah, your Xfinity player of the match, is going to be Note. Surprise, surprise. Note has just been absurd in the series. Just a consistent rock for the Dallas Fuel. I mean, on Eichenwalde, picking up a 4K on the point when these fights are extraordinarily scrappy. Like, very scrappy. It's very hard to sometimes call which way it's going to go, but it feels if Note's alive, hey, it's going the way of the Dallas Fuel.
Well, and it was just really phenomenal to watch him play because you can kind of tell he was the problem, right? Given all the resources Houston put into him, like he was getting hacked constantly. They were always going off the off-tank. It didn't matter if he was Sigma, if he was D, it didn't matter. Note was the hack target priority because he's off-tank, because he offers so much utility. And Note, being as well as mentally stable as I know Note to be, probably just shrugged it off. If I get hacked that many times, I'm switching. I'm disconnecting. I'm out. Like, it's just so frustrating. But Note, steady as can be. His Sigma play has improved week after week after week, and with Sigma being so important in the meta, that's awesome. He's also known as one of the best Devo players in the world, and now with Devo getting some buffs, he brings a lot of versatility to that off-tank role, and just steady as can be. You can't ask more from your off-tank than Note gives you.
I mean, look at those stats too. Accretion stuns 40, Accretion kills 20, so half those stuns actually just result in a kill just straight up. Cancelling ultimates left, right, and center. The Accretion can be such a hard ability to use some of the time, so consistently landing it on people like Genji, on enemy Sigmas as well that interrupt the ultimates, it can just be such a life-saving tool, and you can see why Note is obviously your MVP and player of the match even. And who better to really give it to? I think you could definitely argue it could go to someone like OnlyGod2, who came in late in the series and was able to pick up quite a bit. And his Ashe performance as well, we know him as a cracked hit scan, and he proves it time and time again every single time he steps in.
Well, it can be very difficult to find player of the match. I mean, after Route 66, I would have been able to maybe give it to Gamsu. Like Gamsu's Winston on that map was really, really good. But yeah, I think we do have a replay. It's not on my screen necessarily of that Charlie Niner to end our amazing Battle of Texas. Yeah, it's close to getting there. There were movement abilities. I think you're going to see a lot of C9s actually as we go forward because of Sombra. Like, you think you're going to get there, then you're hacked, and you're like, oh, I guess I just can't.
Look at that. I mean, there's a charge. There's also the Doomfist as well coming out of Meteor Strike getting to the point. The Sombra was also so close to getting on. Of course, you get a small movement speed increase when you are invisible. So there were at least 3 people vying for that, just that pixel, that like toe to be stepped on in order for it not to be a C9. But after that, the Dallas Fuel do end up taking the battle for Texas, and now 4-3 in historic standings as well against the Houston Outlaws. We do have Johnny though with an interview with the player of the match himself. We got Note on the line.
Yeah, thank you, Jaws. There's no shortage of praise here for you, Note, of course, player of the match honors as well. Congratulations. I mean, that was just a fantastic match of Overwatch, and it came down to the very last fight. Can I just pick your brain? How do you feel right now after that very final fight and C9 to top it off?
Well, my heart's beating out of control. It's definitely the fastest that it's been in any amount of weeks. That was a crazy close match. It was super intense. It was super difficult. Their strategy was really good, and they were just really pushing it to us. But yeah, we ended up countering it pretty well in the end.
Yeah, so tell me about that actually, because you go down 0-2 to start off the series, and obviously Volskaya Industries was very close, but then you come out in the second half, only God is in the lineup. What did you talk about in the game break, and how did you adapt to the Houston Outlaws in the second half?
Well, there's a very unique after effect of like those hero pools and stuff, and all the things changing every week is that there's a lot of different comps that end up getting practiced, and sometimes whatever comp is best is just what you're the best at playing. So when these teams have these different strategies and stuff, sometimes it's like a rock, paper, scissors match almost, where like depending on what you practice throughout the week, you end up on different comps and starting on different things, and if that's a bad matchup, you have to change it in the moment. So we really looked at the comps we were playing, looked at how we were playing the comps, how we were baiting, how we were using ults and stuff, and really just focused on countering what they were doing.
Yeah, I mean, it did seem like you were playing a lot of Echo as well, which we haven't really seen too much lately. Was that part of the conversation, perhaps, playing less Echo or other heroes?
It was a lot of everything. I think one of the biggest changes we made was playing Sombra and just matching that in an even 1-1. Turns out Sombra's still a really good character, almost regardless of the meta, so
yeah.
Playing that was just a good decision overall.
Yeah, and also you played a lot of Sigma in this matchup. I think some people would have expected Zarya to perhaps speed things up with the Sombra or the Doomfist, etc. And some people saw a lot of Diva play today, but you stuck to the Sigma. Why did you stick to the Sigma in this matchup?
I think it's a mix of what I'm the most comfortable with, as well as what I think and what the coaches think is strongest in the meta. I think Sigma just has like a ton of tools for dealing with everything, and even though it seems like he might be a little weak to Sombra, especially once the hacks go through, but if you're playing safe and careful and making sure that, well, I did get an ult hacked that match, but if you're playing a little bit more careful and stuff, you can really minimize the effect of that almost more than Diva. So yeah, I really just like playing that this match.
Yeah, I mean, if you actually go back, people branded you as a bit of a diva player and they didn't really trust your Zarya, etc. But this year especially, your Sigma has looked really on point. What have you practiced on this year to elevate your Sigma play, and how have you developed that play over the year?
It's really just been a lot of practice, a lot of coaching. Our coaching staff has been really good with teaching me, you know, I guess basically just how to play the character, because I think I did understandably come in with a weak Sigma. I don't think I spent enough time practicing it early on, so I really had to play catch-ups when a lot of these players were already super strong on Sigma. So I feel now a lot more comfortable than I was earlier, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, it actually worked out because you walk away now with a 3-2 victory against your Texas rivals, the Houston Outlaws. So congratulations. I will let you go calm down, go lie down in bed or whatever you have to do to simmer down a little bit, and then you can go celebrate with your team. Thank you so much, Note, for joining me.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
All right, so we're not quite done yet. The matches are over, but we got the Watchpoint post-show as well, so make sure you stay tuned for this break. And then it's me, Costa, and Zoe with the Watchpoint post-show.